we'll actually talk. I'll inject more about myself during the class. This is a very fast-paced. I try to make it fast-paced. We have a lot to cover, and sometimes we don't make it all the way through, but we will do our best. But also need participation, because it's very boring to hear myself for the next 3 hours. We will obviously, if you didn't bring lunch, we'll take a break, go upstairs, get some lunch. I would, if y'all are up to it, I prefer to work through lunch.
Or while eating, yes.
While eating, just because there's so much information to cover. Stacy and I have actually talked about trying to split this up into 2 classes somehow. We're working on that because there is so much. There's a lot of information that's going to be on your tests from this class. And don't
But it's
freak.
covered on your.
Yeah, don't freak out. It is covered, and I will stress. Oh, this might be on the test, or you might want to take notes. Type of stuff. So.
Just one bit of housekeeping.
Housekeeping.
Especially for the folks that it's their first time. I will get with you, those just starting with a notebook, afterwards to show you where to put the handouts, and I'll bring the handouts from Monday so we can get you caught up.
Did everybody get the handouts on the back table?
Yes.
And sign in.
And sign in. And Stacy's going to bring everybody's name so I can try to remember everybody's name. But while we're waiting on that, real quick, if you'll tell me where you're from, what did you do before, or if you're with a different company in real estate, if you're starting off part-time, still working, blah, blah. Just a quick 2 seconds about yourself also.
This is practice for your elevator speech. So
Yeah.
All the instructors may ask.
Go ahead.
So I'm Naomi. I am also a registered nurse. I work at Piedmont Henry in Stockbridge. I've been a nurse for 20 years. I'm very new to real estate. I was just licensed about a week ago.
Okay.
And so I'm just looking to do a lot of real estate, and maybe I'm not getting away from nursing because I do love nursing. So we'll see how I can work.
Good. So when you give your client when you're selling their house and somebody lowballs them, you can give them CPR.
There you go.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Chantel. I'm from upstate New York, a city called Rochester. My background, I have some film background. I'll be going back to film school in April. I had to kind of stop that because for most of my life I've been my mother's caregiver, and she just passed in August. So this is kind of like my first time in my life I can really go and do everything that I want to do. So I got my real estate license in 2015, then I had to go back to New York and take care of her. We ended up moving back here. So now I'm just ready to get back into the game.
All right.
My name is Tony Wilson. I moved here in August. I lived in the DC area for the past 30 years. I was a TV news producer for ABC News and TV One, and did get my license in Maryland, didn't do much with it. So I'm coming back to Georgia because I went to high school here and just got my license last month.
Where'd you go to high school?
MD Collins on the south side.
Yeah. Okay.
My name is Chaz Coggins, also a nurse with an ICU at Grady Memorial Hospital. From North Carolina, moved here a few years ago for nursing, and newly licensed like a few months ago.
Okay.
Cool. I'm Katie Melcher. I spent 2 years at Berkshire Hathaway, so I've had my license for 2 years, but I just went full-time last April, so less than a year.
Okay, good.
Hi, I'm Anna. I've been licensed for 2 years. I was with Remax, just joined Keller Williams about a month ago. Very excited.
All right.
Tom Dowdle. I have been buying and selling houses with Homevestors for the last 10 years, and my wife finally talked me into getting my license. Here I am.
All right. Are you selling them when you've been buying? Have you been flipping them, or you've been renting?
I've been flipping them to other investors,
Okay.
mostly. But I can just, it's pretty easy for me to go to somebody who has a vacant house and say, hey, you know, I'm Tom, I'm a real estate agent, I'm also an investor. I can make you an offer and buy it in a couple of weeks, or sell it for you.
Good.
What do you want to do? You know?
Awesome.
It's kind of my plan anyway.
All right. And our singer?
I'm Ralph Freeman, and I, as I said, I'm a song evangelist, and but I do have a background in marketing. I started out once I got a BS degree in math and physics. I went to IBM for 9 years in marketing, and when I left that job, I started singing, and I've been doing that for about 40 years. So I'm comfortable with the fact that now I'm a retiree, but I can't stop working. So real estate is a very honorable career, and I have sought it out. I just was newly licensed about 2 months ago.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Latasha. Originally from South Carolina. Been licensed since last April. Started off with Palmer House, but it just wasn't a good fit for me, so here I am. And I'm also a professor, so I teach for Liberty University and several others. But my main goal would be to do real estate full time.
What do you teach?
Mostly leadership, business, operations, marketing courses.
Oh, interesting. And?
And I'm Emily Taylor, and I'm another Atlanta native, born here, raised here, never lived anywhere else. I was also in a nursing career a couple years ago, and then now I'm doing this, and I got my license in November, so.
Okay, good. Well, welcome. I think you've all made a good choice with this office. The support has been incredible for me. I would assume you'll all find the same thing. My door is always open. If you ever have any questions, I'll give you my card before the end of the day. If you go through the workroom all the way straight, basically across from Brad is where I sit with Sam, who is my partner in our business. Be happy to answer any questions, help you any way you can, and so will pretty much everybody. It's one of the things I liked about when I was interviewing the different branches, not only Keller Williams, but other companies, was the openness of this group. Can't say that same fact for some of the other offices, but can for this one. So everybody got the flyers in the back. So we're talking about finding your business. And what does that mean to you? What does it mean to me? Prospecting, lead generation, connecting with clients. I think we had 3 nurses in here. We got 4 people that have been in real estate, a news anchor. I forgot what you said you were doing.
It was Berkshire Hathaway.
Berkshire Hathaway, so you're the agent. So everybody in here sounds like is dealt with people, whether it's, and that's what we do every day. We deal with people and we deal with problems. Our job is to problem solve. And by problem solving, we make ourselves the expert, which in turn hopefully brings people in to talk to us and learn from us. And so, today we're going to talk about how to find your business, obtaining referrals, what can you do to find your business, and how to grow your business. If I don't know the answer, if you have a question, I will definitely find it out. I don't know all, unfortunately. I wish I did, but I don't. But between the staff here and everybody else, we can always find a question out. This is, as I said, an interactive type of class. So in your book, and y'all have a different, you may not have all the pages I have because we switched it up a little bit. So if I'm going over a page that y'all don't see, let me know. But one of the first things we talk about is the 10-4. Are y'all familiar with that? It should be one of the very first pages in this section, and we're in section 3, I believe, in your book. Let's see.
Session 2.
Is it 2?
No, 3. It's 3.
No, section 3.
3 first.
Let me just see if we... Yeah, okay. So, the 10-4, and we're not talking about CB and radio, but in a way we are. So, our goal, obviously, is to reach out to people, and this is whether you're new or whether you've been in this business 20 years, you're still wanting to add contacts, right? You're still wanting to add touches. You still want to add everything. And as you get started in this business, you may not think you have a database, right? Who here feels like they have a decent database of people to touch? 1, 2. Okay. Well, I've been doing this for over 10 years. I still don't even think I have a decent database. Okay? I mean, it's an ongoing process for me. And just like your job is, my job is to contact and then touch as many people. So my goal, just like yours should be, is daily we want to try to add contacts. We want to add connections. What's a connection? Does anybody know what the difference is in a contact and a connection?
Connection is somebody you spoke to, would be my guess.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It could be a vendor. It could be a potential client. It could be a friend from church or softball or bowling or tennis or whatever activities you do. You want to add them as a contact. You may meet them at a network thing, right? So now you're going to add them in your contact, but you may not have a connection. A connection to me is once you've kind of talked to them and find out they may like dogs, you like dogs. It's just something you can add extra to me about them. So it helps you connect better with them. Because everybody here on LinkedIn? Yeah. Okay, everybody's on LinkedIn, and I guarantee, how many of people know everybody on their LinkedIn? No, because you don't have a connection with them. You have a contact with them, but you don't have a connection with them. So that's kind of where the difference is. You want a lot of, your contact could become a connection, and that's what we're working for. But connection is something whether you want to talk poker, whatever it is, dog walking, whatever it is, you have some sort of connection. And in your database, you want to start separating people out so you can quickly go to them. So in my database right now, I have, have they gone over command with y'all yet, or how to break it down? Okay, well, they will. But I break mine down I'm trying to break mine down even more. So if I know somebody that has a dog or a cat, I have a section under notes for dog or cat. If I'm in a softball league, so those that play softball, okay? Those that belong to my temple, so I keep breaking them down. So somebody could have 5 or 6 or 7 different things, or 8, like Georgia football, Alabama football, whatever that connection is. So I give you an example. If you keep up with football or you don't, Tua for Alabama decided to go pro. So I quickly did a search with everybody that is under Alabama football, and I said, I don't know if you heard the news just yet. Tua's going pro. I wish him good luck. He was great for Alabama. Okay, I didn't send it to my Georgia friends, right? Because they could give 2. So I broke it like people that play poker, I have them in there. People that like golf, I have them in there. And I keep breaking it down as much as I can, and I'm always adding things because I come up with a connection to somebody. Who in here is a foodie? Okay, that's a great one. Or if you cook or sing, whatever it may be, break it down to help you with your connection. You're still, so you can narrow it down and have a conversation. Notes, obviously, we've talked. I'm sure they've talked about handwritten notes, and I don't know if they have or not, but they will. If y'all are familiar with a company called Parisians, I don't know how many of y'all remember that company or not. I worked for Parisians out of college. I was in the management program, and one of the things that we made we were at the time the Nordstroms of the South. This was before Nordstrom's came into the South. Well, my associates had to write thank you notes to the people that bought stuff from them. Whether it was a pair of underwear or a $5,000 suit or whatever, their goal was to add them to their database and write them a thank you note. It's the same in our business. So you want to write notes. That note could be, I'm just starting in real estate, who do you know, happy birthday, happy anniversary, and so forth. Again, another way to set yourself apart. Because let me ask you this, excluding the Christmas holiday, because we all got holiday cards, when was the last time, though, you got a handwritten note from somebody? Does anybody remember?
No.
This Christmas.
Huh?
This Christmas.
Right, but besides Christmas.
I got one in October.
Yeah, okay.
It was nice.
But that's what we're going for. So it's just something very simple. Well, hello. Welcome, please sign in and take a seat. Do you have your book, Ignite book yet? Okay, come on in and grab your Ignite book.
Okay.
And my name's Eddie, and what's your name?
Hey, I'm Tracy.
Hey Tracy, and Stacy should be in a minute with some name cards and stuff like that. And we're in section 3 of the book.
Okay.
So it's just another way of setting apart. I personally, and this is why I like teaching this class, because it always reminds me, I got to get better at that. Okay? Because I know it will set me apart. And then for new agents, old agents, or whatever thing, one of the best things you can do during the week, go preview homes. Okay? Speaking from an agent point of view, look and make sure that home is vacant or they're having an open house. Don't, unless you have a client, don't call up and say, oh, I want to go or make an appointment, because they have to leave. And they could have kids and so forth. So, but go preview, and especially in this area and actually everywhere, there are a ton of new communities. You can go preview and learn about what's coming and happening. But you want to preview homes. You want to see the styles. You want to see what's out there, what the trends are. Okay? So that's talking about reporting. And if you do this, it'll help grow your business. And that will in turn kind of into lead gen, right? So what are we here for? What is our job? Brad says it every Tuesday. Do y'all come to the Tuesday meetings yet, or y'all just starting to? I recommend that if you can make it here to the Tuesday meetings, it's really, or watch it on YouTube, it's really, you pick up something. But our job is to lead gen, right? So however we lead gen, making appointments, going to coffees, picking up the phone, that's lead gen, okay? And I know that, I think they took out, did they take out the scripts or no? The scripts are still there. All right, I'm gonna let y'all read these scripts, right? Not right now, but and if we have time today, because I said there's a lot of material we're gonna cover, we'll come back and role play on scripts. I totally recommend that if y'all can match up with somebody, whether it's somebody in this group or an agent that brought you here, you know, and invited you to join and that you're in the downline, find someone to role play in scripts. It's so helpful because who's here doesn't like scripts? Who here doesn't like scripts? Come on, be honest. Okay. When I came to Keller Williams, I was, oh God, scripts. And then I took bold. Have y'all ever hear bold? Took bold and script. I don't like scripts. And then I learned, but the script is an everyday point of my life that I don't even realize. All right, so again, tell me your name. I forgot.
Tracy.
Tracy went to Chick-fil-A. Everybody here been to Chick-fil-A?
Yes.
What is the one thing that Chick-fil-A says?
My pleasure.
That's their script, right? My pleasure. I don't care if you're here, and I don't know if they're in Dallas, but it doesn't matter what Chick-fil-A, you can go here, Macon, Georgia. It is tattooed in their brain, my pleasure. That's their script. And as you role play, your script becomes so much more easier, and you don't even realize it. And we'll go over some things, and I won't even realize that's my script. And it's something I've been practicing, but it just rolls off your tongue. So if y'all live in the same area or whatever, it's a great way to do it. If you can find somebody, pick up the phone and say, I'm going to call you at 8 o'clock in the morning. And you don't have to be on the phone for an hour. This is a script we're going to go over, okay? And you practice, and then the other person practices. So we'll come, if we have time, which I hope we do, we'll come back to that, okay? We talked about handwritten notes. So getting your head in the game. Active lead generation ensures that we not only have business quickly, but when done consistently, will also lead to a steady stream of income. It's, you know, in our business, it's, most agents are fast, our family, right? We go up and down and up and down. That's our business. Well, what Brad will teach you and what this class will teach you, whatever class is, our goal, and it's my goal too, and I can honestly say I'm not on the parallel like this. I do up and down. I'm getting better, but you want a steady stream, right? What we all forget is we get busy and we forget to lead gen. And then all of a sudden, all the closing stopped, and we're like, oh, darn it, I got to start back. So the goal is, if you can, especially for new agents, like I was never taught this when I got into the business. It's not something they teach you when you take the class. But if you can get in the habit of now doing it and teaching yourself that, time blocking and all that, it's going to be so much easier, because you don't know right from wrong, right? So if you get into the habit now of doing these things consistently and not stopping them. The hardest thing for me to learn was this, right? When I first got started, that phone rang, I stopped whatever I was doing, because I wanted, well, if I was in the process of lead genning, I would stop. Well, I get thrown off. Right, well, what I've learned is that unless you're buying leads, which I don't do, they're going to leave you a message. Unless it's your client that you're working with right now, but you're going to have their name in there or whatever, they'll wait. And I also have taught my clients, and we'll go over this in a little bit more, there are certain hours that I'm not going to be able to answer the phone unless it's an emergency. And that's taken me a long time, and I still have a problem with it. But if you, as new agents, or even the ones, if you can don't even start the bad habit, but set the good habit of, I'm lead genning from whatever time you decide, and not answer that phone unless it's an emergency, right? Kids included, dogs included, whatever it may be, it'll help you in the long run, okay? If you can start that habit now, it really will. It'll help you great.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, one. Okay. Yeah, I'll take it. Did not know. Okay. So the success goes to getting into those daily habits right now, right? Doing, my nurse is in here, right? Y'all have probably certain things structurally through the hospital that you have to do daily, and then whatever emergency you have to take care of, right? It's the same in our business. We have to get into the habit of structuring ourselves. And if you can get that and maintain it consistently, I guarantee you, you're going to be outperforming me before you know it. Because I had to rethink my mindset. So you're starting new, so everything should be good. All right, any questions real quick before I move on into what's really exciting and talk about lead gen? Anything we've gone over about getting our head in the game? The 10-4, any of that stuff? Are we good? Okay, so I don't know what page y'all have it, but there should be a funnel on your page. What page is that?
14.
Page 14. Okay, so lead gen is a funnel, right? We start here and we're going to squeeze out that payday, right? That's our goal. But how do we get there? How do we get there? Conversations. How else do we get there?
Building relationships.
Relationships?
Phone calls.
Phone calls?
Referrals.
What?
Referrals.
Referrals. That's what we're shooting for, right? Is a referral-based business. Referral-based business, if you can build a referral-based business, you're a happy camper, right? So, leads, we want leads. We got leads coming in, right? Okay. Who here, let's see, everybody here have kids or had kids? No? No? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Do we need to do jumping jacks? Okay, all right. Does somebody belong to a religious organization, church?
Yes.
Synagogue? Okay.
Yes.
All right. Does anybody actively do anything with them?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Do you go to any meetings?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Is there anybody that said no? One person, two people. Okay, that's fine. Look, we're going to find what everybody does. I'm saying, but when you go to those things, do you have a directory or online directory?
Both. Yeah.
Both. Well, there are some perfect leads for you right there, right? You have something in common. You can send them a letter. You could send them an email. I'm new to real estate. We're trying to create leads, right? You can do it like there's some agents out there that buy leads. We will talk about that also. But, okay. So that's one way. You don't want to just hit your family up, right? You want to build it. So we got to get leads. Once we have our leads, what's the next thing? Appointments, right? What's the appointment for?
Tell them about yourself and your business.
Well, in y'all's case, it's brand new. Your appointment is to explain to somebody face to face what you do and how you can help them, right? And then you're going to ask for business. But first, if you let people know what you do, right? And you do it face to face. Why do you want to do it face to face versus over the phone?
Build rapport,
That's one thing. What else?
credibility.
Okay.
Build trust.
It's easier to keep them in the conversation than over the phone.
Right. If we're on the phone, right? You and I? Perfect. You don't know what's going on, right? Then most people are going to be polite or they're going to hang, right? But if you can get and say, look, will you meet me for coffee? Just 5-10 minutes, right? I just want to tell you what I'm doing. And I want to find out how I can help you. Now, why are you asking how I can help you versus what can you do for me?
Because you really do want to help them. I mean, you want them as a client.
You want them as a client. But is it easier for somebody to just give you names, or is it easier for someone to feel less pressure if you are not asking them? We got
How about
lunch.
that surprise?
I So
Miracles happen.
Thank you. So people are more inclined to talk and work with you if they don't feel pressure. If you're sitting across from somebody, all right, remind me of your name.
Tasha.
Tasha, I'm so glad we met for coffee. I just got into real estate. Who do you know wants to buy a house?
My friend.
Okay, so in this case, your friend.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's I don't know, right? So Natasha, I just want to tell you, I'm starting here at 2020 off really excited. I just started my real estate career. But let me tell you about some of the things that I can hopefully do for you or one of your friends is, now that I'm with Keller Williams, we have a whole list of vendors. So if you ever need a plumber, an electrician, or landscaper, all these people that I didn't know before, I now have access to. Is there anything that, starting the new year, right now is a great time to get your gutters clean. Is there anything I can help you with, that might be able to point you in that direction? So now the conversation is not about me, it's about you. Okay, what can I do for you? Because then the next meeting you have, or the next time you pick up the phone, Natasha, how did the gutter cleaners go?
Good.
They went good. I'm so glad. Look, if there's ever anything else you need, whether it's for your home, your dog, like they have dogs or cats or whatever it is, please let me know. I have all these new resources now that I'm with Keller Williams. If you have your own vendor resource, which you got to get, is one thing. But we have a whole vendor resource, and if you ever have any of y'all gone onto Facebook for the Wallace groups? Make sure you join those. There's 3 of them. Okay, there's 3 separate. One is just general questions, one is needs and wants, and one is open houses and sales. Okay, but join all 3 of them on Facebook, because I've been on there times when I needed a vendor and I put it on there, and I'm telling you, I don't think some people sleep. Boom.
It's true.
I'm being very serious, and I'm not a huge Facebook person. I'm getting better, but you can get an answer. So if someone said to you, I need a waterproofer, you have a waterproofer in your back pocket?
Yeah.
No, but you can get on Facebook, or you can come here and here's somebody, give them a call. So the next time you pick up the phone, you can say, blah, blah, blah. And by the way, just to let you know, if you know of anybody that's looking to buy or sell real estate, I would love the opportunity to talk to them and also show them how I can help them, how I helped you. Okay? So when you make that appointment, yes, our goal is to get a listing or a buyer, but you have to go about it, right? Everybody thinks when you get into the real estate business, everybody's going to give you business, right? Let me tell you, the first person that's not going to give you business, your family. Yep. They are. And guess who's the first person not to refer you?
Family.
Your family. And your best friend, maybe. Why? Because they don't know you as a real estate agent yet. They know you as this person or this job, as this. So you got to build that rapport. So face to face, you can have a conversation. You can have a conversation on the phone. Face to face, they can't turn you off. And if they start turning you off, it's real easy to say, look, I appreciate your time. When can we schedule another appointment? Okay?
Eddie, I heard a stat, I don't know if it's accurate or not, and you probably know this a little bit better than I do, that the first real estate agent that anybody ever interviews, 85% of the time they're going to use that first guy, that first person. So get in front of them.
Yeah. I forgot, NAR had a statistics that most people only interview 2 agents.
Yeah.
One is a referral and one is somebody they just find. So as you make your appointments, then the next obviously thing is to get an agreement, whether it's to buy or sell, and the contract, and then we get to what is called closing day. So let's kind of talk about inexpensive yields, results, how do we fill your pipeline? That's kind of like what I was just talking about, whether it's church, softball, baseball, dog walking, cat. We all, whether we like it or not, belong to some type of group, right? You may not think about it, but you need to start thinking about it. And that will increase your confidence when you talk to people. Picking up phone and prospecting, are people annoyed at you that pick up your phone? Like if someone calls you, do you find it annoying?
Sometimes,
You do? You feel like they're going to reject you?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, you feel like they're going to reject you, right? Anybody else feel that way?
Yeah.
I feel that way. I still feel that way, and I've been doing this for years. But the truth is if they're answering their phone, they're not annoyed. And you can tell on the tone if they're annoyed, because what are they going to do? Or
Don't call me again. Take me off the call
Or
list.
say they have to go.
right?
Or
Or hang up on you, right?
Yeah.
Right. But it's a myth that everybody is annoyed when somebody calls. Now, if it's a robocall, we all hear it and long pause. What was the one I got the other day? Oh, I'm now qualified to get a copper bracelet, whatever, because of my age. Thank you. That's what I wanted to hear. That's annoying, right? But meeting people, building relationships, build your strong real estate business. That's the truth. The myth is, if they don't want to talk to you, you go to voicemail. That's the truth. When I get on to do my prospecting or calling, the first person I always call is somebody I know. Regardless. And why do I do that? Does anybody know? I don't want to be rejected on the first phone call in the morning. I really don't. To me, it's my inner whatever confidence builder. I'm either going to get a voicemail, I know they're going to pick up. So that's where I'm at. You do what was good for you, but you got to pick up the phone. Okay? Picking up the phone is the most inexpensive way to prospect, correct? It's not costing you anything, you're already paying for it. I mean, there's a cost. We have to pay our monthly service fee, but if we'd have this phone whether we were in real estate or not, right?
Correct.
So it's no additional cost. Again, calling somebody the first that you know, unless you hit that, and it has happened. I pick up the phone, I call somebody, I think, and they're having a miserable day, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God. I just heard about all these terrible things. Pick up the phone and call somebody else you know. Then go to the people you don't know, or that you haven't talked. One of the hardest things for me to do when I got into Keller Williams, because was never really taught all this prospecting until I came here, that's one of the things I love, with all these people in my database I hadn't talked to, what am I going to talk about? I hadn't called you in 4 years, and now I'm picking up the phone? Right? That was the hardest thing for me to get over. I would, all of a sudden I don't know you, or I do know you, but I hadn't talked to you in 4 years. You're calling me, what do you want? That's the first thing. And the odds are in 4 years, very few of us are still in their database, right? But as real estate agents and people, we never delete anybody. Even the telemarketers, for some reason, we never delete, right? But you got to get over that. One of my clients from 2 years ago, I hadn't talked to it may have been 10 years. And, you know, I just did it, right? Just do it. Just do it. I did it. Picked up the phone, called them. I just said, look, and it was easy because I had switched companies, right? Said, look, I know we hadn't talked in a while. I think everything's okay. I had little notes about it. I said, how are the kids? I don't want to take much of your time. I just wanted to let you know that I have switched from Wilshire Properties Group to Keller Williams Atlanta Perimeter. I'm very excited. I'd love to set a time just to catch up, whether by phone or coffee. What's a good, is Tuesday a good day? And you always have to say, is Tuesday at 12? Wednesday, whatever it is. Why do you have to say that?
You're pinpointing a time and date.
Okay, that's true.
For commitment.
Well, just the general day, isn't it?
No, there's the word right there.
Commitment.
Commitment. If you say, let's get together, what happens?
It's too open-ended.
Okay.
Okay, and then what happens?
It never
It
happened.
never happens. So, you, in your mind, with your, have your calendar open, right? And say, look, how does, Tuesday doesn't work. What day is good for you? I don't know. Well, Friday works for me. Will that work? What part of town are you going to be in? I want to make it convenient for you. And another thing that I did when I first came over to Keller Williams is I scheduled a lot of appointments over at Alon's. Do you know where Alon's is across the street?
Yes.
And I just scheduled them back to back. So I didn't have to move. And if somebody couldn't meet me on that day, like if I said, oh yeah, Tuesday, but I can't meet you at Alon's, I would say, okay, what about Wednesday at your location? Because I had like 8 appointments in a row. I drank so much coffee, I was going to the bathroom and had so many sweets. But I also said to him, look, I'm so glad you met with me. I'm going to keep this simple, 30 minutes. I do have somebody else coming at whatever. So if somebody showed up to the table, it wasn't weird. And if the conversation was going along, I said, look, can we reschedule? This has been great. But you have to, if you leave it open-ended, you never get in the appointment. So make the appointment. You got to get it open-ended. The 4 C's of prospecting. Who knows what the 4 C's are?
Capture,
Connect,
connect,
close, and
cultivate.
Okay. Who knew them before they read them off the page?
I did not.
Okay. So your first one, going back to, you want to capture the lead by getting their information. And what is information? Telephone number, email, address. What are you asking for? All of it. One of the things I found when I came over here and I learned, I have a lot of people in my contact base. But let me tell you, how many people did I have their address for? Okay?
Small amount.
Very small amount. But there is a trick that you can learn to find everybody's address, right? If they are a homeowner in the state of Georgia, right? Or you probably do this at other places, but I'm just focusing on the state of Georgia. You can go into Matrix, and if you know their first, last name, unless they bought it under a corporation name, right? Or they bought it under their wife's or their husband's name and they're both not on there, you can find out. But if you know who their wife or husband is or their spouse or whoever it is, so if it's not under Eddie Levin, but it's under Sherry Singer, that's my wife's maiden name, I can look under Sherry Singer and you can kind of, I know they live in Dunwoody, here's Sherry Singer in Dunwoody. Now, if they have a very common name like Tom Smith, it may be a little bit harder. But if you know husband and wife, odds are most of them are on the deed together, and you can find their address. So it's a good way to fill it in. But at least you want is their phone number and email, right? Mm-hmm. Phone number and email. The next one is connect. We've been talking about how do we connect, right? We pick up the phone. We schedule coffee. We schedule lunch. We schedule drinks. If they have pets and they're in the same neighborhood, I'm walking my dog on Tuesday at 4, why don't you join me? As long as your dog is friendly and their dog's friendly. However it is, close. We want to close. That's when we've gotten comfortable enough. I'm Eddie Levin with Keller Williams. Who do you know wants to buy or sell real estate? I mean, you want to close. And you cultivate. Yes. Come on.
The question is, when would you like Barbara from Home Pro to do her song and dance, even if you don't break to eat? She can wait.
Why don't you give us 15 minutes, and then we'll do it right before lunch.
Perfect. All right,
We'll
I'll
break-
just hang out here. Just come grab me when you're ready.
Yeah, just at 12 o'clock, come in.
Okay, got it.
Thank you, sorry.
Thanks. Okay, and then cultivate. That's keeping them up to date. That's calling them on their birthday. That's writing a thank you note. That's whatever it is, putting them on Facebook, keeping them in the loop, right? That's how we're gonna cultivate, because you know, how many people, there are people that get into real estate because they know their mom and dad are selling their house, right? So that's their first listing. But truly, how many of y'all coming in here, excluding the agents that have been doing business, already have somebody that wants to buy or sell? That's awesome. Are they family? Okay,
Well,
friends?
some are family and some are.
Okay, but most people don't have that. We gotta cultivate it. It's not an overnight business, unfortunately. That's why so many people get their license, that's why so many people drop out. They think it's an instant sale, and it's not.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. It's not an instant sale, okay? So we talked about capturing. Phone number, email minimum. Address is so important. And let me tell you, if you can get their business address also, like if they're not on the road salesperson, but if somebody said they work for IBM, right? Or IBM, or somebody, or at, I don't know, can you get mail at Grady?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you wrote a, I don't know, birthday, happy anniversary, thanks for meeting me with, and they open it up at their office and they're in cubicle situations, like, what is the, oh my God, I got a handwritten note from, and somebody else gives you, who got, my real estate agent sent me a happy, okay, if you send it at home, if you don't have the work address, they open up, they show their wife, their daughter, their kid, right? This is me talking, not, some people don't think this way. I just feel like if you know they work in, work at Cox, work at, if they're their own employer and they work at home, it's no deal. But if they open it up, and it's something, like I took, one of my good clients, I took an orchid for her birthday to her office. She wasn't there that day. She happened to be in another office. But when I walked in, I said, they're like, oh my, who are you? And I said, well, I'm a real estate agent. Did she buy a house? No. Well, what's the orchid for? Just because I saw the orchid and thought of her. Can I have an orchid?
Go to my house.
Right.
I said, next time I come, I'll bring you an orchid. What's your name, number? And I got her contact. I put it on. I got 3 other people. They're all 3 are renters right now. 2 of them's leases are up this summer. 1 of them's up this fall. They may use me, they may not. And I did bring that lady an orchid next time I went. They're cheap. Trader Joe's, $12. Costco, $9.99. Okay, but because I went to their office, and I went unannounced. I didn't pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm coming to the office. I just went. She wasn't there. But everybody else wanted to see what I was bringing and who I was. Again, you're connecting, you're cultivating. And again, we get to the close. We ask for the appointment. We ask for the referral. This is one thing that you got to get used to. It's hard for everybody. But the question, what do you say? Who do you know that is looking to buy, sell, invest in real estate? Whether it's in Atlanta or not. Y'all understand why I'm saying whether it's in Atlanta or not?
Yeah.
Right. I sent a client to that was moving to St. Louis. Got on, I interviewed 3 Keller Williams agents that were in St. Louis. I said to her, out of the 3 that I have found, based on what I know about you and your criteria, I would recommend you talk to one of these 2. One of them I threw out because she just didn't have a clue. But she came to me from somebody else. She picked that person. I thought she was going to be going to I thought she was going to be renting until she found out she didn't buy an $800,000 sale. I got 25% for making phone calls. It took me about 2 hours.
Nice.
So she was happy because she knew somebody was waiting for her. I was happy, and so it doesn't matter whether we're in Atlanta or not. Because let me tell you, she wants, she still is. We email back and forth. Yes.
You got 25% off of that deal for the commission, off of just referring.
Mm-hmm.
No,
But it was
work.
25% of the commission.
It's the easiest it's the easiest money you'll ever make.
No.
$1 million property, $30,000.
It doesn't matter to me if it's a $200,000 property.
No, absolutely not.
Because 2 things happened. What are the 2 things happened? One, I took and helped a client that's going to remember that I helped her find somebody. Now, it can backfire you, and it has. I did another referral. She got up there. She called me up. She goes, "This lady's done nothing." I said, "Fire her." She fired her. She went with I think it was a Berkshire Hathaway. I got nothing. Okay? But we're still friends. We talked. I sent cards to her. But you're helping somebody, right?
Right.
That's the key, because that's what they remember. You remember the person that helps you. You really remember the person that screws you, right? And then in between, nobody remembers you. Well, you don't want to be known as the person that's screwing you, right? That's not a good remember. That's why I always say, when you're sitting down with somebody, it's how can I help you? Unless you know they're looking for a house. The appointment is, and if they say I'm looking for a house, the appointment should be here in this office, in one of the conference rooms, so you can show them your presentation. But if not, it's how can I help you? What do you need to know? You want to be the go-to person for everybody, whether they're your client or not. I have a guy that has never done business with me, right? But he's on my mailing list. I did him. He called me over Christmas. He says, "I need a plumber. My shower is dripping." I said, "Here's the plumber you need to call." Hung up with him. I called my plumber. I said, "Look, Adam Sokol is calling you. His shower's leaking. Are you in town?" "Yes." I said, "Please squeeze him in. Please do that for me." And he did. I got a call about 4 o'clock that afternoon. "Eddie, thank you so much." Eric didn't tell him. Eric's my plumber. Didn't say Eddie called and asked his favor, because I know if I had called, Eric would have said, "Well," because he's very busy. But Adam sends me. We never bought anything together, but he has sent me people. Some of your best clients are not necessarily your clients, but you still have to cultivate them like they are. Okay. You want to add, connect. You want to add them to. You ask them for their database. You want to add them. What are you looking for? What do you like? Make that connection, especially if it's somebody from your church and you kind of know them, or people who plays Alta tennis or whatever. You may not know. You may know their face, but not their name. So you want to ask questions to get the conversation. Do you have any dogs? Do you have kids? Where are they at school? Or grandkids? Whatever the case may be. Any way you can find that connection. And always ask permission. Can I add you to my database? Can I add you to my database? Closing, asking for business, right? We'll always get the appointment at the end of, this is something I learned from Keller Williams, you'll learn from this class. Not my class necessarily, I can't remember, but one of the things that I had to get in the habit of was, especially when we were sitting at a listing appointment or a buyer's consultation, the end of it is, by the way, who else do you know that I can help? Do you have a couple of names I can write down right now? I'd love to help somebody, whether they're buying today or tomorrow. Got to get in the habit of asking, because if you don't learn that and put it as part of your everyday vocabulary, it won't come off the tongue. Got to get in the habit of asking. Stacy, who do you know that's over in North Chase area that might be looking to buy or sell? Stacy's going to say, "That's my village. Don't mess with it."
Exactly.
That's where Stacy lives. But you got to learn to ask. And it's surprising what people, especially if you've been helpful, right? You spent 30, 45 minutes, an hour. And if you've done your job right, you're helping them. They're excited. So they're willing to do it. So you got to learn. And sometimes it's okay to do the hard close. Sometimes it has to be soft. Y'all know what the difference in hard and soft is, right? You're very direct on hard. Hey, Naomi, you're signing. I need you to sign this right now. You understand. You control it, right? So one of the questions that I usually get, and we're getting close to a good stopping point, is how do I answer when somebody says, "Well, you haven't done this. You haven't sold a house before, right?" How many have that fear? Right? Okay. You know something? You're absolutely right. But one of the reasons I'm with Keller Williams is I have a staff behind me that has multiple years of experience. And they're there to help me and guide me along the way. So I promise you, yeah, you may be my first buyer or you may be my first seller, whichever the case may be, but I have the support that's behind me that you'll never know the difference. And if you can do that confidence, unbelievable. And how many of y'all were brought in from it by another agent, like in their downline? So every one of y'all pretty much. Go to them and say, I got a listing appointment. Because you know why? If you make the sale, what do? They benefit. Now, if they turn you down, then you got a problem, but they should be willing to help you. I mean, unless they're in another office or, you know, and if that's the case, find somebody here. If I'm available, I'm more than happy. You know what I'm saying? And let them come with you, because even if you pay them a part of your commission, what does it matter? You got to get it under your belt, right? That's how I look at it. Y'all can look at it how you want. It's your money. But that's how you set yourself apart, is if you're new and you're worried, but you can't do it tentatively. You gotta practice that script. I have this, and this. My mentor is, who brought you in, Naomi?
Jane Lamb.
Jan, okay, how long has she been doing it?
Oh, a long time.
Okay, so my mentor is she's been doing it for, I said, and she's gonna be right by my side. Whether she is or not, right? You know you can pick up the phone and ask her, but it's like anything else in sales. You know? I mean, honestly, you said you worked in the ER, right?
ICU, but
ICU, ER, whatever it is. Okay, you get pulled in a stretcher, you're not going to look up and say, Chaz, how long have you been a nurse? Can I get somebody else? Well, it's my first day and I've never drawn blood. You know what I'm saying? It's no different, right? And you know they're probably going to interview anybody, so you got to set yourself apart. And you have the staff here to help you, so practice that script. Okay, so that would cultivating we've talked about. Any questions up to where we're at? No? So I'm going to go grab, I guess, whoever's buying us lunch. Let her give her spiel. We'll grab lunch. We'll take a few-minute break, go to the bathroom, but we're going to eat and talk. If y'all are okay with that, we got a lot to cover. If you have any questions for me, let me know. You know, pull me aside. And I think it's a good start. We're going to talk about sphere of influences coming up next. So let me grab her, and then we'll move on.
Smells good.
But Alicia's out with it.
I'm not happy he retired.
He's still doing marketing, but
I know.
yeah,
He was the best.
he is a tough act to follow.
He was the only, I mean, what was he, 60, climbing underneath houses? How old is he? He might
He's
be.
older than that.
Well, I'm saying when I was with him, so.
Yeah, probably 65 now.
Yeah, climbing under houses. So this is Barbara from HP, or called Home Pro. She's they're one of our vendors here, and they're a very important vendor that you're going to need to know down the road. They do your home inspections, and what we're talking about is one of the gentlemen who did my home inspections for years retired. Well, he didn't retire from the company. He's just not climbing under houses anymore.
Yeah, he's doing marketing and
He's
teaching
doing
classes.
marketing. Most knowledgeable man you'll ever meet. He'll answer the phone, pick up the phone. All of them will, and she'll tell you a little bit more about the company. But you gotta have a home inspector in your database, because you gotta have that.
Yeah, and that is true. We do, let me grab a couple more pens.
And they have the greatest pens with the little heads.
That's cute. We have been around for 20 years. Reality, gosh, probably 12. But we do actually have 14 full-time inspectors that still do crawl under all the code. And this little book I'm giving you guys is called a Realtor Reference Handbook. Which I'm not going to read through the whole thing with you, but we have found it to be really helpful for you guys. So in the front are some CE classes that we teach, and actually Stacy will be the one, if we are teaching a class here, she will let you guys know. And then there's just some general inspection information, but one thing that has been really helpful is cost estimates for repairs. So we did a pretty lengthy research project And it just gives you a ballpark, like, you know, how long do appliances last? How long does a dishwasher last? If it says your roof is 5 years old, do you have 5 more years or 20 more years? You know, a lot of things that, especially first-time home buyers, or even a lot of home buyers. I mean, I've bought 4 houses in my life, and I probably still couldn't even tell you how long a dishwasher is supposed to last. So all of that information is in here, as well as some contractor resources in the Atlanta area. And we are, our office is in Decatur, but we inspect an hour outside of the city in every direction. And like I said, we have 14 full-time inspectors. We work every day but Sunday. And we're there for any of your home inspection needs. And if you guys ever have any home inspection questions, feel free to call our office. We're happy to help, even if you're not booking an inspection, because I know that's just, you know, just one part of all the things that you guys have to learn. So that's really all I have. Our phone number is on here. Enjoy your Taziki's lunch.
Thank you.
That's all I
Appreciate
needed.
it. And they, and their follow-up is, you can pick up the phone and call them and say, I have a question about an inspection. And most of the time, the inspector is going to be at another job, but they get the message to the inspector. And I'm telling you, I've never had an instance where they didn't call me back before end of day.
Yeah, and we even actually give out the inspector cell phones now too.
Yeah.
And we do say that if they are an inspection, they can't pick up, but they will.
Right. I mean,
They
it's-
are really good.
And that's what you need. And if you're on a tight deadline, because we all, you know, whatever the case may be, they will fit you into, you know, don't do
Yeah,
that.
we
Don't
do
do that.
have
Try
a-
to schedule it at that time, but it will
We do
happen.
have a 3-day guarantee. Like right now, when it's not as busy, but we do have a 3-day guarantee. Even during the busy hour, we will make it happen.
Right.
And we did just hire 2 new inspectors too, so that we have an easier way of making that happen. But if you are ever in a bind, you know, with the time thing, we will do our best to fit it in. And same day reporting too, so you'll get your inspection report the same day that you have the inspection.
Wow.
That evening. So.
What's the average price for the inspection?
We do it based on square footage. I would say, I mean, ballpark, a 2,000 square foot house, it's about 400-ish. But always call. You can always call. We have it all programmed in the computer, and we just put in the exact square footage, and we can send you a quote. And we also do radon testing, which is an additional $199. And that is a 48-hour test, so you get our report 2 days later, but the inspection report you get the same day. So that's it. So enjoy your lunch.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
so
letting
much.
me have a minute.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thanks for lunch.
Thank
you. We do
Thank
not
you.
currently have referrals. So yeah, we can refer you to this.
Okay, so let's take about a few minutes. Everybody get some lunch, go to the restroom. If you have to return a phone call, I really don't want to take too long, maybe 10 minutes. Y'all can eat while I talk. I'm gonna wolf down some food also. If you have any questions in the meantime, come up and ask me. So let's eat it while it's hot. Let's go.
Hi Lisa, this is Anna. I actually scheduled an appointment for Leo this morning with Dr. Gresham at 3:30. Does he have anything at 4 or 4:30 available?
You're so strong. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's, I'm not here for him, but I think it's gonna be over there too.
At 5?
That sounds
Okay,
right.
I'll see if I can
But
move.
it'll be over there too.
Okay, I'll see if I can move.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call you.
Okay, let me go ahead and keep the 3:30. I'll move things around on my end. Alright. No, thank you, Lisa. Okay, bye.
I'm gonna bring lunch, but I would have this. I'm starting to run away. Yeah, the place over there. Yeah. How you doing? I'm good. Oh, I'm just a smiler and I can remember your face. It takes a long time to remember. I guess I have to get better. What did you say? Suzuki?
How you doing? What class is this?
Ignite.
What's up, John?
Yeah, I was like, hold on, what class
Did-
is this?
Did Kathy reach out to you?
Huh?
Did
She
Kathy
hasn't
reach out?
yet.
Not yet.
What's up? Look, I'm ready when she is.
I know you are. Appreciate it.
No problem. All right. Hey. Yeah, I sure am. How y'all doing? I'm not gonna stay for you can get up out of here 5 minutes round. Late to go. You all have a good one.
Hey, Robin, it's Tom Galloway. How are you? Yeah, I just got it, so, yeah, I got everything. Yeah, so everything came through. Can I, so here's the deal, I've been buying and selling properties in Atlanta for 10 years, but I'm very new to being a realtor. Can I take that and add my client's name and stuff like that, where he can e-sign it, or can you do that, or how does that work? Okay.
Munchy, munchy,
Okay.
munchy. It's good, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am. Oh, I did watch.
Okay.
No, you didn't.
I was the salesman too.
Oh, okay.
I know this
Yeah,
one gal,
that's what I would prefer.
Keosha
Sanderson.
Sanderson.
Print everything out and then go to
Yeah.
You can do this really
Yeah,
quickly.
look,
So,
yesterday,
okay,
the salesman, they gave a little thing to go over your computer.
Clearly, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Order in the
I will,
commercial needs on Wednesday.
and then I'll have some, just have me, get all that set up and get it over to him and hopefully have the signed agreement on Saturday.
Coats and stripes and.
You're welcome, Robin, appreciate your help.
You don't want those?
Yeah, so the one that I was looking at was the Sunday market.
Good, how are you?
On that one, that's like.
No, that's still from the old market leader. Yeah, we don't want that.
Okay, so how do I get to the one that I
I can show you, but can we do it another time?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Before Ignite's over, we're all gonna do that.
Okay.
For sure.
All right, okay, I know. Perfect. And I
South African.
Did
Yeah,
what?
he's
Marble
awesome.
box?
Have you sold
When
anything?
you,
Oh, yeah.
when you're like
Good.
going to leave, you know where the
Works
kitchen
with a bunch
is, the
of
break
Yeah.
room?
He doesn't.
Across the hall.
Okay, clearly.
Then
Yeah.
narrow,
Brings them
grid, and there they are.
Okay,
So
because I think I got
across.
something in it. I'm gonna go look.
He's a good buyer. He's
I'm done.
He's a good,
Looks good,
home
right?
buyer.
Can you go out there,
Yeah.
ready to go out?
What do you
For
need?
the restaurant?
Well, I was trying to go.
Where do you wanna go?
Like, we're going out the door. We're gonna go to the mailboxes.
Our mailboxes? So that way.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Towards the front. That'll be easier.
that way to the left, right?
Left, yeah, it's on the right.
Yeah.
Show her live and in person and the rest of the sign.
Stacy, I just got an offer in my inbox of working on listings. Yeah, I know.
Wah.
I know. I need to, I guess.
Just acknowledge receipt first.
Okay.
Yep, got it, thanks.
So, I need
And that'll buy you a few hours.
Yeah, I've already talked to her. So,
Okay.
but I need some help in putting e-sign boxes in his area of everything. So I don't know, do I come to you or who do I go
Well,
to?
Allison normally, but
Okay.
since she's in Colorado,
Oh,
yes, her sister-in-law passed unexpectedly. Yes.
Lee, that's terrible.
Exactly.
That is
So
terrible.
it's her brother's wife. So so she's there.
So she wasn't able to help me get into my, remember she told me she had to leave, so I don't know if that's it. Okay, I mean, she said maybe she did.
Yeah. And she sits right across from where
Okay.
Allison sits. Yes. Were they not working or you hadn't gotten?
So,
All right.
any chance I can come see you after this class?
You want to take a number?
Yes, clearly.
Thank you. Yes, but I can't promise you that you'll be first.
That's fine.
Okay.
Stace,
Yes, sir.
before you leave, scoot up here, please.
Where are they? Stop it.
Right before you walk out.
Is that what you want, Eddie?
Yeah.
Stop
This
it.
is red
Yep.
folders and it's alphabetical.
Okay.
All right. I gotta turn that on now. All right, so is everybody back? Everybody's back.
One person.
Okay, she's getting
Right
ready.
there. She's like that.
Okay.
You want me to turn it on?
Yeah, you can go
Do
ahead and
you want
turn
the
it
door
on.
shut?
Yeah,
I'm
please.
good.
We're gonna lock Stacy in.
I'm good to go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so everybody's enjoying this lunch of a surprise, which was a very good surprise. Thank you, Stacy or Rachel or
Rachel's
whoever
leaving, yes.
whoever pulled it off. So
Thank you.
I'm gonna eat and talk with my mouth full, which you shouldn't do, right? So, does everybody have a copy of the memory jogger?
Yes.
Yes? Which one did she print out? Can I see it? Which one did she hand out? Okay, perfect. So that's, does everybody have this?
One we picked up from.
Should have picked it off the table. Okay, I just want to make sure everybody has it.
It came off the back.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so we're gonna talk, because we're gonna use that in a minute or two, if you don't have it on the back table, but I just want you to have it. So, what is your sphere of influence? Who can tell me? You can read it from the book, if you're keeping up, or just guess. Come on. Somebody that's not chewing.
The
People who you
around
know, who
People-
like you, who you're friends with.
People who know you, trust you, and may do business with you, right? And so let me ask you this. How many people do you know? 50? Raise your hand, you know 50 people?
More than that.
More than that? 100 people? 200 people? More than 200 people? Okay, that's great. The average person knows about 150 people. So that's about the average. Look, how many, all right, who's not on Facebook? All right, everybody's on Facebook, right? How many friends do we have on Facebook?
About 1,100.
1,100, 4,000, right? Anybody just have 2? I'll be your friend, you'll be 3. Look at Facebook, okay? Go through your friends list on Facebook. Now, a lot of these people you're not going to know because someone said can have a friend request, blah, blah, blah. But you can look back and say, oh, Eddie was friends with this person, you know, whatever the case. It's another way to build your sphere of influence. LinkedIn. Who's on LinkedIn? Everybody should be on LinkedIn if you're not on LinkedIn. Because it's a business. It's getting to be more personal, but it is a business thing. Build it up. Okay? My suggestion to you, and you do what you want, is you're going, now that people find out you're in real estate, you're going to get every real estate agent in the world asking to be your friend.
What?
Okay, I'm going to answer that for you. I have some real estate agents that I'm friends with. I don't accept friend requests on LinkedIn with real estate agents unless I really know them or they're an out-of-state real estate agent.
Why?
Why? Because when you start putting feeds on, and if they comment, someone may click on it or whatever. I want to keep it. I don't want to give my business away. I like y'all all right. I don't know you yet, but we'll get to know each other. We're going to be partners in real estate, but I ain't going to give you my business. I mean, that's how I am. You do what you want to do. On the same token, if you don't have a lot of people and this person has 1,000 followers, you may want to click on it and start following them because of whatever they're doing. That's up to you. Build your database with everything but if you can. You know, it's just going to be amazing that once people find out you're in real estate, because they sell, every one of y'all that took the Georgia test, they've sold your name to every brokerage company. I'm sure you're getting calls or emails or letters. Come join us. We're the best. We have no splits. We have whatever it is. Okay, because they've sold your name. We're a commodity. People are going to find out, and you're going to start getting mortgage brokers. You're going to get them from everything. Again, I just don't do real estate agents. You can do what you want. You want to tell these people on Facebook. You want to tell these people on LinkedIn. You want to tell these people, I'm learning Instagram. Okay, I'm not. My kids laugh at me, you know, but I'm not 20. So I'm learning as you know, I'm still learning. Thank goodness that Facebook and Instagram kind of work together. But you got to get people out there to build your sphere of influence. So, since everybody's still eating, this is a clip by Bob Newhart, Just Stop It. And the reason I'm going to play it and what I like about it is, I want y'all, when you start writing down who you should talk to, who you should call, and that monkey on your shoulder tells you can't do it. I want you to remember this, okay? This is a good little digestive entertainment. Everybody here know who Bob Newhart is, or most of y'all too young? All right, you don't know who Bob Newhart is? Well, he was the comedian, God, how old, 70s, 60s? Yeah. All right, well, he's still funny.
Dr. Spencer?
Can y'all hear it?
Yes, come in. I'm just raising my hand. I'm Catherine Bigman, Janet Carlisle, referring you.
Oh,
Yes, that's me. Shall I lay down?
No. Let me tell you a bit about our billing. I charge $5 for the first 5 minutes, and then absolutely nothing after that.
That sounds great. Too good to be true, isn't it, in fact?
Well, I can almost guarantee you that our session won't last for 4 or 5 minutes. Now, we don't do any insurance billing, so you either have to pay in cash or by check.
Okay.
And I don't make sure.
All right.
Go.
So,
Tell me about the problem that you wish to address.
well, I have this fear of being buried alive in a box. I start thinking about being buried alive and I begin to panic.
Has anyone ever tried to bury you alive in a box?
No, but truly thinking about it does horrible. I mean, I can't go through tunnels or be in an elevator or in a house, anything boxy.
So what you're saying is you're claustrophobic.
Yes, that's it.
All right, well, let's go, Catherine. I'm going to say 2 words to you right now. I want you to listen to them very, very carefully. Then I want you to take them out of the office with you and incorporate them into your life.
So write them down?
Well, if it makes you comfortable, it's just 2 words. You find most people can remember them.
Okay.
You ready?
Yes.
Okay, you're there.
Stop it! Stop it?
Yes, S-T-O-P, new word, I-T.
So, what are you saying?
You know, it's funny. I say 2 simple words, and I cannot tell you the amount of people who say exactly the same thing you're saying. I mean, this is not Yiddish, Catherine. This is stop it.
I said just stop it.
There you go. I mean, you don't want to go through life being scared of being buried alive in a box, do you? That sounds frightening.
Yes.
Then stop it. No, we don't go there. Just stop.
So I should just stop being afraid of being very alive in a box.
You will. Well, it's only been 3 minutes, so that will be $3.
But I only have a 5, so.
Well, I don't get change.
I guess I'll take the full 5 minutes.
Fine. All right. Well, what other problems would you like to address?
I'm anemic. I stick my fingers down my throat.
Stop it.
But I'm compelled to. My mom used to call me fat.
No, we don't go there. No, we don't go there either.
But my horoscope did say.
We definitely don't go there. Yes, stop it. What else?
Self-destructive relationships with men.
Stop it. You want to be with a man, don't you?
Yes.
Well, then stop it. Don't be such a big baby.
I wash my hands a lot.
That's right.
Yes.
I wash my hands all the time. There's a lot of germs. Yeah, don't worry about that.
I'm afraid to drive.
Well, stop it. How are you going to get around? Get in the car and drive, you kook.
Yes, stop it.
There you go.
What's the problem, Kathy?
I don't like this. I don't like this therapy at all. You're just telling me to stop it.
And you don't like it?
No, I don't.
So you think we're moving too fast?
Yes. Yes, I do.
All right, then let me give you 10 words that I think will clear everything up for you. You want to get a pad and a pencil for this one? You ready? Right here are the 10 words. Stop it or I'll bury you alive.
So,
We're live.
So it goes back to the same thing. You're scared of picking the phone? Stop it. Scared to make the appointment? Stop it. Just do it. Right? I mean, for those that remember Bob Newhart, that was, I guess, the Friends before Friends. It was all the community. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, as I said, sphere of influencing. And this is one of the hardest things people have is because they don't know who their sphere is. You know, they know people, they don't know people. So if everybody has this, right? This thing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take, just because of the time, we're just gonna take a quick 5 minutes. And I want you to go by and write, you can get a piece of paper, you can write it on wherever, and just go through the memory jogger. The whole point of the memory jogger is to help you think about who you know. Okay, you have an auto mechanic, you have a banker. And we're gonna go through this, and then we're gonna talk about sphere of influence. So let's just take about 5 minutes. And I want you to write down as many as you can. I don't want you going through your database. This is not looking at your phone and saying, Eddie's a banker. I want you off the top of your head, as fast as you can, who do you know that's your sphere of influence? All right? So if y'all will go ahead, I'll set the timer, and we're going to do that and knock that out, and then we'll go from there on that. Okay? So go ahead and start. So, I know 5 minutes goes by fast, doesn't it? Did this help y'all think of people you wouldn't have thought of? No, so keep it with you, pull it out from time to time. All right, who had more than 20 names? Everybody have at least 20 names? 50 names? Anybody have more than 50? No? 50 was probably the tops. So, tell me who here put their immediate family names down? Not everybody, huh? Cousins, immediate family. Who put their preacher, their rabbi, their spiritual leader? Okay. Who put their doctor down?
Me.
Doctor's really good. They talk to a ton of people. Who put their lawyer down? No? Okay. Lawyers are good people too. Who put their accountant down? Who has an accountant? Now, you're going to need a good CPA. If you don't have one, I'll be happy to share with you a couple of people. Because you're going to want to track your miles. You want to make sure you're deducting everything. You're self-employed. And you're the employee and the owner. Make sure you do it correctly. Make sure you track everything. CPAs. Why do you want a CPA? Why do you want more than one CPA or accountant on your list? Why do you want one of those as your sphere of influence?
Because we have a lot of different clients.
You know, you're thinking about buying a house and you have an accountant. Who's the first person you call to see if you, or a financial planner? Who put financial planner down? Gotta have financial planners as in your sphere of influence. These are people you want to target and meet to become part of your sphere. If somebody's thinking about buying a house or even selling a house, if they're buying a house, they want to call their accountant and say, look, can I afford to do this? If they're using an accountant or a financial planner. Or if they're selling a house, they're going to call and say, does this make sense tax-wise? What are my options? Or am I better off just renting it? They know before you know somebody's looking to buy or sell. So if you have a good financial planner and accountant in your database and in your sphere of influence, they will, you want to be top of mind with those people. Did anybody put a divorce attorney there? Why a divorce attorney? They're going through a divorce. That could be 3 or 4 transactions, right? Got to sell the house. They got to buy a house. They got to buy a house, right? Or they got to buy a house because the other person keeps the house. Well, they're going to know before you. Divorce attorney's a good person. An estate lawyer, estate planning lawyer. Anybody put those down? That's another good person. If someone passes away, the state's got to take care of it, got to get through probate. They're either going to sell the house because all the kids or whoever's left the house wants the money, because typically there's more than one. So those are your spheres. Any of y'all in network groups yet? BNI, Power Core, your own private network, any of that?
Do book clubs count?
Huh?
Book clubs.
Book club's perfect.
Well, I go to Toastmasters.
Huh? Toastmasters is great. That's a great course. These are people that are getting to know you on a weekly basis. And they're going to be because they're going to know you professionally, most likely. These are great people to be in your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence may not be your client. My top referral base, except for one, never sold anything to them. But boy, they send me my referrals. So build your sphere of influence. This is a great thing to do constantly. It's just, and as you grow your business, and if you're looking for somebody in your sphere, it's a great conversation. You pick up the phone with whomever you're calling and say, look, blah, blah, blah. By the way, do you know somebody that is it's a divorce? I'm not getting divorced. So let me tell you a funny joke. Funny, right? So I was trying to build my sphere of influence. So I put on Facebook looking for a divorce attorney. Didn't preface it by saying, I'm not getting a divorce. The number of people that call, everything okay? My God, what's going on with you and Sherry? My brain, okay, women, men, our brains work differently, right? My brain didn't say, this is stupid. My brain said, I can reach a lot of people this way. But I didn't preface it and say,
I love it.
I'm not getting divorced. Who do you know? So people,
Nope, but I'm now selling real estate. You got a house you want to sell?
I actually was able to talk to people that I hadn't talked to in a while because they were concerned. Okay? And one of the people that did give me a divorce attorney, it took me about 6 months to get in to see him, just to have coffee with him. And me bugging has actually turned out to be a pretty good referral. So it's a great conversation. I'm building up my vendor network or whatever, referral network or whatever you want to call it. Who do you know? Because you're not asking for their business, you're asking for their help. Just goes back to the same thing of asking for their help. What do they need, right? You're building that credibility. So, any kind of questions on this, the sphere of influence? This is a good one. Because most of y'all are in other industries, not everybody, but past coworkers or current coworkers. You see them every day. Chaz, I don't recommend the guy that's in the ICU that can't talk, but you might want to stick the card in the family's purse when they come. No, but I'm just joking. Just joking. But current coworkers, past coworkers. It's a good fun pickup. Real easy. Hey, Tracy, how you been? I really, hope everything's still going at whatever company, just to let you know I've started a new career. It's a great touch, and it's a great way to stay in touch with them. So if you, work on your sphere, work your way out, okay? This person gave me this person, and kind of chart it out and see how you're connected. Like on LinkedIn, you're the third connection, first connection, right? That's the same thing with your sphere, And those are the people that you're going to stay in touch with as you grow your business. Any questions on this? Was this helpful, the memory jogger? Yeah. I like it. I carry it around. I took it to my networking group one day. They thought it was the best thing they ever saw because it reminded them what business they've been lacking and who to call. So pick it up from time to time, look at it, go through here and say, who don't I have or who haven't I touched base with?
Eddie, where's the memory jogger? What page is that?
She handed it out. Did you not get off the back table?
I grabbed everything off the back table.
If you don't have one, we'll get you a copy.
Okay.
Just remind us before we leave. It should be on the back table, but if not, I'll make you a copy.
I just picked up one. I think she brought her after.
Yeah. So I keep mine because, especially when I'm trying to add to my database, and what I'm looking for and who I don't have in my sphere, it's a great thing. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, is time blocking. And it's on page, mine's 23, I don't know what page y'all have. It is 23? Okay, so we're talking about what we do every day, right? We're lead generating, right? Well, how do you prepare for lead generating? You got a time block, right? We talked about this. That's where you're not answering your phone. It's hard, trust me. It's hard. You may have, but you want to prepare, take action, and maintain. So what is preparing?
Reading scripts.
Preparing is, scripts.
Setting up your call list.
Setting up your call list. So, everybody said they're on Facebook, right?
Yes.
So, if you go to this birthday of my friends, and if your friend that you're friends with has ever put their birthday in there, it'll tell you whose birthday is today, who's tomorrow's, who's next week, blah, blah, blah. I look at that every morning. I do it actually in advance, but there are times but I double check it. So I put on my, I write down that's people's birthday. So I know who to call. What a great touch. What a great touch. It's easy. If you don't know their birthday, it's most likely on Facebook. Not everybody is. But if you're friends with them, you can kind of figure out when their birthday was because everybody starts wishing them happy birthday. And you add it to their database. In Command, as y'all get familiar with Command and using it, when you input it into the CRM, it will send you, it'll pop up on your to-do list. And I have mine coming out to remind me a week before because I want to handwrite a birthday card. And I call them, don't get me wrong, but I want to send them a handwritten card. So you want to prepare. You want to prepare who you're calling. If you're calling for sale by owners, does everybody know what for sale by owner is? Does everybody know what an expired is? Expired listed. You want to call your influence. I split mine up as you grow your business into ABCs. A's are people that they're my top people. Those are the people I'm staying in touch with. If I'm having an event, whatever, those are my A's. My B's are the ones I'm hoping to get to my A's. My C's are people that I have connected with but really don't know. Right? So if yes ma'am.
For like expired listings, how do you go about getting their contact information?
There's a couple of ways. First is you might get lucky and the agent may have put it on the FMS listing because they don't want to be bothered setting an appointment. After that, there's services out there. You can Google search. There's there's RedX. There's a whole bunch of them that you can pay for, and you can also Google search them. Got to be careful to make sure they're not on the do not call list.
How do we check that?
Most of the services tell them if you do it free on the web, you don't know. But if you pay for one of the services, there's different call services. I don't use them. I used RedX in the past. I don't. We're going to go over for sale by owners expired. I'll tell you what I've been doing. But in preparing, whoever you're calling that day, okay. Leave a message, right? If you call them, don't hang up. Just leave a message. Don't have to go into detail, but whatever the case may be. And then you're going to take your action, right? You've got your call list. You have your, you practice your scripts. One thing that a lot of people will do are affirmations. Who does those every day or once a week? Some people are really big into them. When you take bold, if you take bold, that's one of the things they talk about. I'm a great salesperson. I'm a great salesperson. I'm a great salesperson. Whatever your affirmation is, okay, that I wrote, I used to write it down when I didn't do this. I thought it was the silliest thing before bold. And I do that. Especially if I'm cold calling, got to psych yourself up, right? It's all mental. Psych yourself up. It'll help you find a business. Say you're prepared. All right, so then take action. You're going to prospect. You're going to get on the phone. You're going to call, right? You're updating your database when you're talking to somebody, right? You want to find out their what? What's the minimum you want? Well, you have their phone number because you're going to be able to call them, right? So you already have their phone number. You want to make sure their email's correct. If you can get their work address or their home address. I always ask for work because why? Usually I can find their home if they own a home. Now, if they live in an apartment or if they're renting, it's a different story. If somehow, I don't come out and say, oh, do you have kids? But if the conversation comes up and they tell me the kids' names, I make notes. If the kids are playing lacrosse, or the kids are playing football, or however the conversation goes, right? But your call that you're doing is a business-related call. If you get into, is it Kirsten? Did I say it right? Kirsten. So Kirsten, we call, right? And we're talking about just everything, and we start getting off subject. I want to get back on task, right? Because I can spend 30 minutes, and that's my prospecting time. Kirsten, look, I am so excited we're talking about this. Can I meet you for coffee? Coffee's on me, and let's catch up. We can find out about your family. Cut it and move on. Because if not, your list of 50 or however many people you're going to call could go to 2 because you spent 2 hours talking to 2 people catching up. Nobody's going to be upset with you if they understand. And I will typically, it depends on who I'm calling, say, look, this is not a, I'll say this is not a personal call. This is, I'm calling about business. you know, I just want a few minutes of your time. We're prospecting, we're looking for business, we're not doing social hour. And if you start getting into social hour, and I do that because I love to talk, once I get somebody talking, I have to jog myself to say, look, I'll buy coffee, let's catch up. Tuesday work, and whatever day you have set aside, remember that day. And fill it up, right? Hey, Starbucks is on me Tuesday at 10 a.m. at Peachtree Dunwoody Road. Is that good for you? Perfect. I'll see you then. We'll catch up. Then you're with them, and you made that next step to connection, right? Keep it professional. Okay? It's hard, but you do it. Track your results, right? I talked to them. What did you talk about? If you said, I'm going to follow up with you on Thursday, put it in your in your calendar, because you got to follow up on Thursday. What's the one thing people hate the most? If you say you're going to do something, you don't do it. Right? So if you say you're going to follow up, or if you say you're going to get them, you know, a comps or whatever it is, make sure you do it, because what happens to your reputation if you don't do it? Right? And don't set under expect, you know, don't talk to somebody and they say, oh yeah, I need a valuation on my home. All right, I'll have it to you by the end of the day. No, you're not. Be realistic. Because that means you rush through it.
I'll get it to you soon.
Well, we're going to talk about that. When can I come see your house to give you that valuation? Oh, I just want to know what it's worth. Look, I do. I could just go on the tax records and see what it's worth, but I don't know what your inside of the house looks like. Hadn't been in your house in years. Unless it's your best friend, right? And you know that they have granite countertops, or they have, say, look, for me to give you an accurate thing, I need to come in and see it. I need to know what I'm looking at so I can make sure we're comparing apples to apples. Do you have Coria? Do you have granite? Do you have hardwoods? Do you have linoleum? Do you have hardwood vinyl? Those all affect the price. Do you have a fenced-in yard? Do you have a finished basement? Okay? You can only know so much from pictures. If someone ever asks for that, that is a great way to get in front of them. You know? And it also makes you look professional because you're not just guessing. Now, if they say, oh, I just want to know what the average is. Okay. I'll do it on square footage. I can't tell you what's inside. And I'll see what I can. It's a great way to follow up and a great way to make an appointment. Okay? So think about what they're asking and how you can turn it in to get face-to-face and in the house, or face-to-face here. All right? It's a better way. And then, if you're good, write thank you notes. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. I look forward to following up with you. Whatever it is. Again, nobody gets thank you notes, right? Write the thank you notes. We've talked about we'll go kind of quickly. Preparing, look at your sphere of influence, referrals, neighbors who just listed, for sale by owners, past clients, just sold. I mean, everybody knows what just sold is, right? Everybody knows what sold is, correct? If you don't, please say something. For sale by owners. Did I bring my for sale by owners packet? No, I didn't. You're obviously calling for sale by owners probably a lot, because you're getting leads from the company you're paying for, right?
Well, so
are you like We Buy Ugly Houses, where people call them and then you're the next on the list, list?
Yeah, so I don't own a franchise, but I'm a buyer with 5 different franchises in the market. So they place signs, and those owners get the phone calls, and I pick up the phone and I say, hey,
right, I want to buy your house.
Qualify them and go from there.
Right.
But for this business, I'm driving and looking for vacant homes. I jot the addresses down, and then do a reverse search and try to find their phone number and contact information, call them.
Okay, so for sale, everybody knows what for sale by owner, right? Everybody know what the acronym is? FSBO, right. So I carry in my car typically is a for sale by owner packet. Okay, and I go if I see a sign for sale by owner, I'll stop, I'll ring the door, nobody answers, there's obviously a phone number, right? And I'll call them. And they will either, first question is, hey, I came by to look at your house. I wanted to drop off some information for you to help you possibly sell your house. Why, because most agents are there like, well, when you're ready to sell, let me know. So I have a packet that talks about things they need. Like if you're in DeKalb County, you need low flow toilets, and there's an addendum on the low flow that has to be signed off. They won't turn your water on if it's not signed. So if they're selling in DeKalb County, they may not even know about that addendum. So, and I have sample across them, so they can't use them, right? I have a seller's disclosure sample, and I give them a couple of them, and you're asking me, why am I giving this? Because when I call them next week, hey, how's everything going? You have any questions, any help? Because when that day clicks that they've decided they're no longer wanting to try this by themselves, or like when I went by and nobody's there, hey, I came by to take a look at the house, nobody was there, how are you showing the house if you work? Whatever the conversation may be. When the time comes that they haven't sold it themselves, I want to be top of mind. So I will call, and let me tell you, they hang up on you. They tell you I've talked to 20 agents. Another thing I'll do is I'll have the car running on a Saturday or Sunday. I'll go and I'll knock on the door and I have my packet. I said, look, I'm with a client, but I saw this. Here's some information that you may need to sit on, that might help you sell your house. I'll call you. And then I'll leave. And I don't stay. Then I'll call them the next day. And everybody knows how to get their phone number, right?
Off the
Out the
sign.
sign.
In the front yard, right. If they don't have a phone number, then they're never going to sell their house. But
How successful usually is that approach?
I don't do it a lot because that's not something I do, but I probably dropped off about 10 packets, and I've had 2 that have converted.
Okay.
But my bad is I don't keep following.
So
It also depends on the area. There are a lot of areas that, for sale by owners, they just demand.
Eddie, you ready for this? I have a buddy that goes up to the houses, knocks on the doors, and he said, hey, look, I would love to do an open house for you.
Well, that was the next thing I was going to tell you.
I don't want anything from you. I want the buyers that come through the open house, but I'll get a bunch of people to come to your house for you, and you possibly might get a sale out of it.
Yeah.
And so you do an open house, and guess who they're going to call when they're ready to convert?
Right. There's an agent here, and I forgot her name, who does that. I have not. I've offered it, but nobody's taken me up on it. It just depends how busy I am. But it's a good way if you're getting started. I forgot her name, but she does a lot of that. She'll offer to do open houses, because when you do an open house, what are you looking for?
Buyers.
You're looking for buyers. You're looking for clients or sellers, right?
Yeah.
That is another one. So let's talk about prospecting sources now, because we've talked about preparing. What are some ways to find prospects? Can anybody tell me?
Walk a dog.
Walk a dog, okay.
Have a cocktail at a bar.
Yeah, I'll tell you my bold story about that one. Go ahead.
The nail shop.
Okay. Who knows what door knocking is?
What I do.
Does everybody know what door knocking is?
No.
Door knocking is just what it sounds like.
Knocking on
You're knocking on doors. You pick an area and you knock. You don't ring the doorbell, you knock. And you go door to door to door to door to door, and you knock. And it took me a long time to get over that. It really did. And I recommend going with somebody. I really do. Whether it's your partner or somebody else. And maybe if you're, we went door knocking and we had our little door hangers and blah, blah, blah. And we were everybody know what farming is? Does everybody heard the term farming?
Mm-hmm.
So farming and geographic farming is we're farming an area. I send postcards to a certain area. We door knock that area. We're just trying to stay relevant and top of mind. So we were door knocking, and I was surprised. I'm like, I cannot believe we're going door knocking on a 1 o'clock during the week, right? Who's home? And a lot of people are home. A lot of people work from home, and they love this break to talk to you. And whatever your script may be, it is. So we went to this one house, and we knocked on the door, and we were talking. She goes, oh, yeah. John Damiano, if y'all don't know, I don't know if y'all know who John's office is down there. He's part of the Providence Group. Your partner John was awesome. He helped us buy this house. Because she knew Keller Williams and John. And I said, yeah, John, and John is a very nice guy. John and I have known each other for years. And I said, well, obviously you're not moving. Do you know anybody that might be thinking about moving? She goes, yeah, we had a progressive dinner the other day, and 2 doors down, they've been talking about interviewing agents.
Mhm.
So where did I go?
2 doors down.
Wrong. I went to the next house first
Oh.
because I was staying in order, and then I went to, and we were able to. She said, "Yeah, my husband and I are interviewing agents, but we think we found something." I said, "Look, I appreciate that," and I got the lady's name, and her name was Sarah. I said, "Look, Sarah told me that y'all were looking. I would just love the opportunity to just come and meet with y'all and tell you about it." And she goes, "Oh, Sarah told you about me?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "We are outdoor knocking." But Sarah happened to tell me. She goes, "Okay, let me call my husband and see when he has a chance." She said, "Well, he's actually on his way home. Will you meet with us in about 45 minutes?" I said, "I will. I really won't have I won't have any numbers run." Or she goes, "That's fine." So we sat and talked, and I had my computer in the car. I always have your computer in the car because most everybody has Wi-Fi. We pulled it up. I did an impromptu thing, and we got the listing.
Oh, all right.
Okay, now I can tell you that hundreds of other times I've door knocked, it's never happened. But what I'm saying, that is a way to do it. And so we send postcards, which I bought samples of, to a neighborhood. We door knock the neighborhood. We talked about for sale by owners, expired listings, okay? So everybody, one of the things on FMLS, I don't know how familiar with you are on FMLS, but you can search by expired, you can search by expires by radius, you can, however you want. You can also set yourself up on a little notation that when it expires, it sends you an email to call. The question is, how do you find out who owns those expireds? You have to do research, right? Unless you're paying a service like Redx, and I forgot the other dialers. You don't necessarily know who it is, right? So you're going to have to do some research, tax records, whatever the case may be. If you're farming your neighborhood, how many of y'all in a neighborhood that has an HOA? Okay, that I don't. I live on a street with 10 people, so we don't have it. But I know every 10. But most HOAs have a directory, right? So if you're farming your own neighborhood and somebody expired in your neighborhood, that's the easiest way to find the email and phone number right there. Or go knock on their door and say, "Look, I'm sorry it didn't sell. What happened? Is there any way I can help you, or give you some suggestions?" But expireds are a little bit harder because you do have to do some research ahead of time. I have always, this is me, it's not a Keller Williams rule. If it's a Keller Williams agent, and when I was doing expires, I would call that agent and say, "Are you relisting it? If not, what wrong? Can I call them? Blah, blah, blah." If it's a Berkshire Hathaway or somebody else, I don't care, but I just feel like we're all family and the benefit of the doubt. You do what you want to do. It's not I can tell you the number of Keller Williams agents that have called my clients when it expired and we're going to relist or whatever the case may be, because there are a lot of teams that all they do is robo-dial. And it works for some people. The people that are good on the phone, it works great. But you have to be consistent and you have to be quick. It's kind of like when you get leads, internet leads. They say if you don't answer within the first 2 or 3 minutes, there are 12 other agents have called them or texted them. Agent referrals. We talked about this a little bit with my referral St. Louis. That's a great way. If you live in a particular neighborhood or area, like I don't want to go down to Peachtree City, right? So I would try to find an agent that I know that covers Peachtree City. It's a great referral and it comes back to you. Or if you know of a client, somebody that's moving to Savannah, Georgia, wherever it is, it's great. And there's multiple, Rawls Group, as I said, has it. There's a KW group, that agents referral group that you can get on Facebook. You can get your name out there. I've had I had a client that referred me to somebody, and they lived in Conyers. And one of the agents in here, I happened to say, look, I have a client that's in Conyers who lives. He happened to be coming to the meeting, and he lived in Conyers. I'm like, here. Because why am I going to drive to Conyers?
Yeah.
I don't know Conyers. I mean, can we learn the area? Yeah. But you want to be as the expert, and you want to say, look, so like to my client, I said, look, I would love to help you, but I got to get you somebody who knows the area, or I'm not doing you any good. And I referred them out. I got 25%. They closed it. So agents referrals. Social media we've talked about, right? Prospecting on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, great places to prospect. Great place to do ads, great places to touch base. When you're working on Facebook, what you got to remember is it's not that you just like, you have to make a comment. You got to do some type of feedback. So it increases your, whatever it's called, flow-through rate or something. Just putting liked, nobody knows, but Katie put a picture of her, what a cute dog, or whatever it is. Oh, the family looked great Christmas, just something. Plus, when you start posting on your Facebook page, people that see their Facebook page because you posted are going to see your post. So it kind of all works together. And I'm not a Facebook expert. There are others in this office that really are, but it's one thing I've learned. As much as it's not my thing, but I have to learn to do it. So, open houses. This is the next one. I will recommend to everybody here that has never done an open house to find an agent that's in your area or one that brought you in and shadow with them to do an open house, one or two. So you understand the process. And then volunteer to do open houses. I think last year I had 4 listings at the same time, and I gave out 3 of them to do open houses. I, from time to time, still will go to agents I know, especially in areas I'm trying to farm, and I'll say, can I do your open house? Even if it's 2 weeks old. I've picked up a lot of people in my database. People will be looking, oh, well, they're out on it, especially if it's nice in the spring and the summer. Oh, well, my lease doesn't end, or I'm a renter, or whatever. Now they're in my database, and I keep cultivating them. Great way to pick up buyers. Great way to pick up people that are thinking about selling in the same neighborhood because they want to see what their competition is. So if you do an open house, make sure you research the area. And what do I mean by research the area? All right. Who live? Tell me, where do you live? What part of town?
I'm in Riverdale, Georgia.
All right, I don't know anything about Riverdale, Georgia. I know where it's at.
Yeah.
Right. So if I was to do an open house for her, what are some of the things that I would want to research for the open house?
Other properties that are listed in the neighborhood.
Other properties that are listed in the neighborhood. What else?
Schools.
Schools. What else?
Solds in the neighborhood. What are the prices sell? What are the houses selling for?
Okay.
Average time on the market.
Average time on the market. What else?
Restaurants.
Shopping, yeah.
What else?
Access to public transportation.
That too.
Okay.
Where's the nearest grocery store?
Okay.
Utilities, like
okay.
some people.
Yeah.
Would you look up the crime?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Don't look up. You don't offer crime, and you don't offer religious institutions because you don't offer ratings on schools.
Okay.
You can tell them where to go look, but you don't. Parks. Nearby parks. They have kids. If the neighborhood doesn't have an HOA with a swim and tennis, where's the nearest YMCA or wherever they could join. You want to become the expert of that area. Everything else y'all said was perfect, right? What's the nearest? Oh, not chain restaurant, but look on Yelp and see who has the most. And research. I don't know, Cuban. There's a great Cuban restaurant around the corner. It's got 300 likes. Yes, ma'am.
And this information, your expertise, you would put it on a flyer, or
You could have it on a flyer, but where you want it to, you want to be. I'm walking into the open house. I don't know you don't live in Riverdale, right? I live in Dunwoody, but I'm doing her a favor. Right? I'm trying to find buyers. I want to be the expert. You can have a flyer ready, absolutely. You should have a flyer about the house and what's around the house. But I don't want to be holding a flyer and saying, well, the Mexican place tapas is. You want to research it. Another thing that I do, and I do this a lot on especially when I'm doing my own open houses. I go the Friday and Saturday before, if I'm doing a Sunday open house, and I knock on all the doors, and I tell the neighbors, I just want to let you know we're doing an open house this Sunday. I apologize in advance if there's any traffic. We are going to be doing a special open house. Our open house is from 2 to 4, but we're asking the neighbors if they want to come by and check out the house. We're going to do a private for just the neighbors at 1:30. So if you'd love to come by, we'd love to see you. My name is Eddie. If you're having any issues with traffic or whatever, here's my card. Why am I doing that?
Potential business.
Yep. And who else loves to come to open houses?
Neighbors.
Those neighbors. So I want to get them out of the way. Right? I want to get them out of the way. But you never know. They could be looking to sell or buy, or they just may want to know if they really put granite in the kitchen, or what were all those trucks, or whatever. So I always try to do that. You can, there are some agents that will send postcards or get on the phone, and if they have, if you know the neighborhood, and if your client's really nice and says, you could say to them, say, look, do you have HOA of all the phone numbers and emails? I just want to let everybody know in your neighborhood about the open house. Oh my God, all of a sudden now how many names do you just collect? Now you can't start bombarding these people with emails without permission, but you can send them postcards. You can send them letters. You can pick up the phone and call. And you just add it, if there's 100 people in that neighborhood, you just add 100 names to your database. And if you're farming that area, it's a great way to do it. What else? Any questions about open houses?
So you said when you're going door to door, how are you getting all of the information? Are you just
You talking about in the neighborhood I'm about to have an open house with?
Yeah, you were saying that's a good way to to build up.
Well, you'll see if people talk to you.
So if they talk to you, then you add them to your database.
Oh, absolutely. So I'll say, so basically we're talking. I just want to let you know that we're going to have an open house on Sunday. I apologize up front if there's going to be any traffic. Also to let you know, we're going to have a private showing for just the neighborhood if you'd like to come by. And I always ask, I said, by the way, are you interested in selling or buying? Do you know anybody that is? You have to get that into your repertoire. Took me forever, I'm being honest.
So when you're giving them your card, are you also taking their information too?
If you can read people. You can read people. And you can also add in your thing. You can say, look, if you'd like, I'd be happy to give you a CMA on what your house is worth. The last 4 houses, and you better know your numbers if you do this. Better know who's for sale and what has sold. If there's been a lot of turnover in that neighborhood, because the first question they're going to ask is, well, house at 1717 sold, what did it sell for? Now you can pull out a sheet of paper then and say, look, because I can't remember everything, but here it is. I just pulled up the last 6 months of closings. This house actually closed for $550,000. They had $10,000 in closing costs. It was on the market for 30 days. You could pull out your notes then, because you're doing this as information. Yes.
So I have a question, because my fear is violating some real estate law.
You what?
Violating some real estate law, because it's some little things that be so technical. So, say you got a listing and I'm doing an open house for you. And this is my cousin. I know she's buying a house, but she has an agent.
She has an agent, not you?
That's not me.
You didn't slap her?
I mean, I was still doing my post.
I'm just messing
so
with you.
I
Go
wasn't
ahead.
ready.
No, I understood. Okay, go ahead.
Can I invite her to my open house?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But you know she's under contract.
Right.
You can't steal her.
I wouldn't try to steal her, but if I'm selling your listing, I get a commission for that. So I just wanted to make sure.
And you're not representing her.
Right. So I just want to make sure that's okay.
You're not going to get paid. I mean, there may be an agent that if it closes from something you do, they may pay you a referral fee. But you're doing open houses, you're not going to get a commission. Your commission is if you find a buyer to buy it.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But you already know she's got an agent, so you're just inviting her.
I mean, the motivation for my question was if I knew people that were buying.
Yeah.
Or say I had a Facebook group of people who wanted to buy.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, hey, come to my open house.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure.
You can invite anybody you want.
Okay.
But if you know they're represented,
If they've signed a buyer brokerage agreement, they're off limits in terms of you making money off of it.
right. But you can invite them.
Right.
Now, they may work with their agent for whatever period their buyer agreement is, and they're like, my agent never did this, my agent never did that, I'm gonna fire her and I'm gonna hire you. But you can't make any money off of it. And if somebody has a for sale sign in their yard, even if I'm doing an open house, I'll go knock on the door.
You say you wouldn't?
I don't.
Okay.
So the other day, I was taking a client around to show houses. There was 2 people standing in the driveway. I said, oh, well, drove up, said, hey, are you the sellers? They said, no, we're waiting on another realtor. I said, okay. So I let my clients in, and when they walked in the house, they went in and looked around the house, and so I walked back down and said, have you signed a buyer's agreement with the other agent? Where the heck are they? And they said, well, they're stuck in traffic. I said, okay, here's my card. If you guys want to walk through the house, please do. And so I answered some questions and talked to them a little bit. They hadn't signed a buyer's agreement, so I'm not going to say, hey, sign the buyer's agreement while I'm standing there. But I mean, if they call me and they want me to show them some property, now first thing I'm going to do is say, look, I don't show property without a buyer's agreement. And have you been pre-qualified? I mean, so I start getting some things going, but I mean, that kind of stuff happens. So if you're silly if you're going to drive people around without a buyer's broker agreement, in my opinion.
And
what are your thoughts?
Nobody goes in my car unless they've been pre-approved.
Yeah.
And a buyer broker agreement. Nobody gets in my car, and I've done it before, and I've learned the hard way.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just wasting your time. Pre-approval is more important to me than a buyer broker agreement, but you need both. And the other reason why you need a buyer broker agreement is because God forbid something happens in the car, you get in a wreck or something like that. There's a little section on there, I don't know exact terms, but you're basically, everybody sues everybody, unfortunately, but you're at least covered. But no, if they're not pre-approved, no. I mean, if I'm doing, no. I've done it before and I've gotten burned. I did it once and I'll never do it again. And I spent probably a month showing this to him, and we found, I said, we've shown, I said, because this is the house. I said, okay. She didn't have any money. Not only did she not have any money, she owed everybody. I'm like, if we had already gone through, what are you going to have? Do you have the money put down? Yes. Everybody lies.
Yes.
Everybody's going to lie to you. Get used to it. But no, nobody goes in my car and I don't meet anybody. Now, if it's my listing and someone calls me and says, my agent can't meet me, who's their agent? Always ask. That's more safety than anything else. Okay, who's your agent? What's his or her phone number? What company does she work with? And if they start stuttering, that means they don't have one. Well, I would love to show it to you, but I do. If you're already working with somebody, I need to call them. If you're not working anybody, that's fine. But before I let anybody into the houses, I need to see your driver's license, and I need to meet with you at the office or whatever. Because nowadays you just don't know, man or woman. You protect yourself because there are a lot of nuts out there. Yes, ma'am.
So there was this FSBO that I was going to, and I asked her because she wasn't there. And then she was like, well, I actually just got listed this morning. So I waited to see if there was like a listing up on FMLS or MLS, and it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So I was starting to feel like maybe she just told me that just so she could get me to go away?
Mm-hmm.
Should I try to pursue it again, or?
Oh, absolutely. Hey, I know we had this conversation, said you were listing it, but what happened? Did the agent fall through, or? And she may say, "Oh, well, the pictures haven't come back." Whatever absolutely.
Because I don't want to,
What do you got to lose? What if they say no? She already turned you down once, right?
Because once they say they have an agent, you really can't.
What if they say don't call me again? Who cares?
I mean, that would be more direct.
But I mean, if they tell you they have an agent and you waited 2 days, it's not on FMLS. Say, look, I know you told me that you had an agent, you were listing it, but I hadn't seen it on FMLS because I do watch this area because I know this area very well. Just want to make sure that everything fell through and everything was okay.
Okay.
Anything I can help you with? Well, they took pictures. I don't know why it's taking the agent so long to get up together. Oh, well, we had a disagreement on the price. You don't know. You can sign. Let me tell you, you can be fired just as quickly as they sign the paperwork. Because let me ask you this: if you sign a exclusive listing agreement, right, and it's for 90 days or 120 days, 6 months, or even 3 days, right, and they come to you and say, I want to end it now, we're just not getting along, or whatever the case may be, right? Now, obviously, you have the right to ask for your photography or whatever, but are you going to say no and say, look, I'm not undoing this? You're going to create that ill will? Now, there is a 60-day clause, there's whatever time frame when you fill these out, it says on there that if within the next 60 days or 30 days, whatever you fill out, that if somebody you showed or another agent showed it, then you're entitled to it, so you got to watch it. And that's another reason why is you got to keep track of all your agents' names that come through. It's never happened to me, and I'm sure it's happened to somebody, but they went in and said, look, if you let me be the listing agent, my buyer's going to buy it, you only have to pay me 3% versus the 6%, right? But if you can show that, then you have a case against them. But odds are, if somebody's firing you, whatever the reason may be, you don't click, they don't like what you're doing, are you really not going to undo your listing agreement? Because then what does the reputation become like? They'll trash the hell out of you. So they could have gotten a fight. Look, you told me we were going to list it for $300. Now you're coming to me with the listing paperwork and saying $250. I want $300. Well, we're not going to get $300. I want $300. No, I'll find me another agent. You know what I'm saying? So no, what's the worst they can say is, look, she's working on it. I appreciate the follow-up. You can always, she said, oh yeah, the agent said, look, is it okay if I check in with you from time to time? Yeah.
I've never had anybody tell me no on that.
No on what?
If you mind if I call you, once every other month and check in on you?
Most people say no because they know that most people aren't going to follow up and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like for saw by owners, they get so many calls and things,
And they get, depending on what time of the day or whatever it is, there's some that are rude as hell.
Oh yeah, I had one the other day.
I mean, so you have to. Yeah, I mean, these. Look, I'd rather someone hang up on me or tell me no right off the bat, so I'm not wasting my time. So we've talked about. This is a big one. So when you're done with doing, obviously your signs, you've picked up, you've cleaned up, you've locked up the house, whatever it is. Pick up the phone and call the agent that you did the open house for, and say, we had 15 people come through. We had 2 people come through. This was the feedback. We had no feedback. We had nobody that showed up. We had this that showed up. I found whatever it is, because you know what's going to happen. Open house was scheduled from 2 to 4, right? You're there from 2 to 4. What happens at 4:02?
Somebody comes.
Nope. The seller calls the agent and said, what happened at the open house? How many people came through? And the last thing we want to do is say, I don't know. So as soon as you're done, please call the agent and say, this is what we had, this is the feedback, whatever. After you pick up, don't wait 2 hours. Now, I will tell you, this happened to me once before. I was showing a house. It was actually my listing. Had an open house. And there was another house I knew in the neighborhood. And let me tell you, if I'm doing an open house, or even if I'm selling a house in the neighborhood, I go into every house that's for sale. Because I want to know what my competition is, right? and I know the information about them. So when I was doing my open house, there was a lady that came in and she wasn't represented, and the house we were selling was just too big for her. She loved the neighborhood, but my house was too big. And I told her, I said, look, the house up the street is smaller. It only has 4 bedrooms instead of 6. It does not have a finished basement. Because I knew the details of it. This is the price. If you have time, I'll be happy to show it after my open house. I just need to call and make sure we can get in. And she said, yeah, it'd be great. She goes, I'll come back. So I called. I said, well, let me have your number and information. I got all her information. Called the agent, said, can I get in? Agent said, got us in. Picked up all, cleaned up, went over there, showed it to her. House wasn't for her. But you never know who you're going to meet, right? She ended up buying a house about 9 months later. Took her a long, she couldn't make her mind up for anything. But be prepared, know the inventory of what's around. Even the neighborhood next door, like if it's, depending on the neighborhoods, know what your competition is, because you never know. Your house is not fitting everybody, right? Where your house is selling it, but if they love the area, know what's around there and offer it. If they're not represented, go. And I do keep blank copies in the car with me if, not a lot, because it doesn't happen that often. It doesn't, but be prepared if it does. Other agents are good places for referrals, like I said, because they're too busy. They don't want to deal with the area. They don't know the area. So let people know that you're there. You work, you may work Sandy Springs, but you live in Riverdale. Let people know, this is a big city. If you haven't been here a long time, this is a big city. I mean, there are parts that I've never been to, and I've lived here all my life. So if you specialize in a certain area, let everybody know. If somebody's looking for something on the Beltline in the 4th Ward, I can tell you where to go, but I don't know the area. It may be better for me to find an agent that lives and knows that area and get the referral fee, because I look like the pro. You have to know your client to make sure. But sometimes it's better to pass them off. You don't get as much money maybe, but it might be able to work with somebody that you do know the area and not waste your time. I mean, you have to make that financial decision. We had an agent that, client started off looking in the Cumming area, and next thing you know, they're in the Blue Ridge. I'm like, why are you driving to Blue Ridge? Give it to an agent. He's like, I need the money. So he was driving, and he lived in Dallas. And not like he lived here. He was driving to Blue Ridge three times a week for 2.5 weeks. To me, that's not good use of your time, but that's what he wanted to do. Okay, you want to take a break real quick, or keep going?
Go.
Keep going? All right, so we're going to talk about any other questions on open houses? Anything I didn't cover that I can think of? We'll come back to it if I need to. If you have any questions, again, you can always come see me. All right, so we talked a little bit about Facebook. We're going to talk a little bit about Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, list reports, and so forth. So as I'm going to be honest, there are people out there that y'all may know more about Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram than I do, but it has become an area where you have to do it. Everybody here has a Facebook account, right? Mm-hmm. Out of everybody here who has a business page, Facebook. Everybody here needs a business page, Facebook. And why? Because Facebook, according to the rules and their tech things, says if you're doing business under your personal page, they could shut you down. Mm-hmm. So if you have a business page, you can forward it and share it to your personal page. Again, it's how many people they shut down, I don't know, but that's the rule. Okay? You have to stay engaged. People want to know who you are personally, which I hate, but they also you got to remind them you're in business. my last Facebook post that I did the other day had nothing to do with real estate. I showed people and told people, who has a front load wash machine here? Front load, okay. You have a front load, When was the last, how old's your wash machine?
I bought it in October.
Okay, October, you don't count. Who else had one? Somebody else will raise their hand over there. How old's yours?
Yeah, about a year.
A year.
About 4 years old.
4 years old. Do y'all know that there's a filter on the front bottom left or bottom right of your
Yeah.
front load wash machine?
It'll get clogged with dog hair, cat
Yeah,
hair,
when was the last time you cleaned it? So I went on Facebook and because I cleaned mine and I showed everybody what to do. It, I didn't say Eddie Levin with Keller Williams. I just took pictures, how easy it was, how it made your there's a clean button on them that people, but you got, especially I have 2 dogs and they shed and everything we wash has dog hair.
Are you saying you put that on your business account or your personal?
No, it's my personal account. I did on both. Everything goes on both.
Gotcha.
But I didn't say anything about real estate. Okay? And the people were like, oh my God, what great information, great information. So the next day I had a meme saying, hold on, because I can't remember what it was. I'm getting old, what can I say?
So is your business page a completely separate Facebook account?
Yeah, you have to. You need to. So our business
But you
page.
can link them.
You link. My business page is We Sell ATL Team. This is my Facebook. Okay, because that's We Sell ATL is my domain. So that's our team name. So it's on our signs. Okay. Post. Because I like this post. Okay. So the next day I said, I can already see you buying or selling a home with me next year. I have 20/20 vision. To 2020, and I put my little logo, both on my business and my personal. So if they made a comment on the wash machine, which was right there, it'll be on their feed. So one had nothing to do with real estate. The next one has to do with real estate. Some people here some people take pictures of every food they've ever eaten and they post it, whatever it is, right? So you have to do both business and if it's all business, nobody comes back. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you want to take everybody that you have on your personal page and invite them to like your business page. So you want to, and it's a good way to, every transaction I do, I put on Facebook. I always ask my clients, do I have permission to take a picture with you and do I have permission to post it? Some no, so then I take a picture of the house. Another listing sold by We Sell ATL, blah, blah, blah. Don't mention, Other times people, oh yeah, you can use my picture and I'll have their picture with me. Just ask. Last thing you want to do is take a picture with your clients and put it on Facebook and they haven't told anybody that they bought a house and then they're pissed. And that great transaction relationship went to hell in a ham. Can I say that? Sorry. Real quick. Always ask. Just like you're going to ask them for a referral and a testimonial, ask before you post. Just as productive just to put the picture of the house. Okay? And I do it on both. With Command now, and y'all haven't gotten into Command, you can do neighborhood updates. So you can post that on Facebook if you're farming a neighborhood. If somebody opens a new restaurant, events, Twitter, I don't use. Who uses Twitter in here?
I did.
Okay. I don't use Twitter. There's some agents in there. But that's enough. You can only do so much to me. If you have the time, I guess you do it all. People put on Twitter, but with Twitter, you're asking a question to engage. You're not really putting the pictures and all that stuff. I don't tweet, but it's very helpful. There's agents in here that do it. They'll post, upcoming listing in the, Habersham area, wherever it is. And if you have a lot of followers, do it, right? If you know how to use it, use it. All the social media is just branding yourself. That's what we're working on to build our business. Any of y'all have kids in high school or elementary school?
Yes.
Okay? Great way to build your business that way, because you can post about Dunwoody football team, if your kid plays on the football team, Dunwoody High School is playing whatever. Kids play, whatever the case may be, because you're narrowing down your field. You live in the neighborhood. It's a good way to do it. When my kids were at Dunwoody, my daughters were in the band, so I would used to get on Facebook and I would take pictures of them because I went to the football game. And I'm like, we don't care about the score, we care about the band. Whatever the case may be. And you'd be surprised how many people saying, oh, absolutely, way to go. You know what I'm saying? Like it. And the other thing you got to do with Facebook, and you got to do this with, you got to respond. If someone likes it or makes a comment, you got to either say thank you or check mark. You got to engage. Keep them going. It's that's one of the things. YouTube. Who's a YouTuber in here? YouTube is if you like to do stuff on YouTube, it's a great way to build followers. Yes.
No.
Oh, okay. So that's another one. Instagram we talked about. You want an Instagram account. It's real easy now with Facebook, but you have to do it too. I haven't figured out a way, and there may be a way, but you have to post them separate. First time you post public.
There's a way to do.
There is a way to do two?
Yeah.
Well, can you show me?
I don't know how to do it. But
well, that doesn't. But until I figure it out, and I'm sure there is a way, I just haven't figured it out. You have to click, and you have to click post public and post to Instagram.
We need a social media class.
Well, you will, yeah, and that's what Stacy and I are working on, is trying to separate this class out and just doing, because there's so much stuff social media now that for finding your business. So I'm just trying to cover the highlights. If you have a particular question on any of these, come to Stacy and I will. I'm telling you, there's agents in here that have only built their business on Facebook.
I got a buddy who does that too.
There's an agent here, she's built her business on Instagram.
I know her, yes, very well, very successfully.
She's
built
Denise?
her good business on Instagram.
Denise? Who?
Dominique.
Dominique, yes. So there are people that we can point you to who you need to talk to. The key is, of all these things, is repetitive. Being repetitive.
Consistent.
Right. Same with your emails and all your follow-up. If you're in an HOA, so there was a neighborhood that we used to farm, and when I say used to, you'll understand. As I told you before, I live on a street with 10 homes. There's a neighborhood around the corner from us that probably has 300 homes. So a couple years ago, I sponsored the swim team. I don't belong to the club. I've sold a lot of houses in the neighborhood. I sponsored their garage sale, whatever they needed, I sponsored, right? And I had been doing it. Well, an agent that lived in the neighborhood always got upset, and she used to go to the HOA meetings, I found out, and would say that nobody that's not a member in the neighborhood should be able to sponsor anything, because I was farming her neighborhood. I mean, we were sending out postcards every other month. I was calling, door knocking, had a banner for the swim team, the tennis team, whatever they needed, whatever they asked for, bake sale, whatever they wanted, I was sponsoring. And she for 2 years, kept trying to say, we can't do this. And they're like, no, Eddie and his group has been sponsoring, and he's sold houses, and he asked first, So she ran and became president of the HOA. So guess whose banner and everything is gone. But, hey, whatever the case, I still farm the neighborhood. I just don't, my favorite. But if you live in an HOA neighborhood.
Did she take over the sponsorships?
Yeah. She bought her own banner. I mean, she could have done, I don't know why she couldn't have done it before. Whatever, right? But I've been there for 2 years, so I still have clients from that neighborhood. But if you live in an HOA neighborhood, take advantage of that. If they do a newsletter, if they do, like I said, a swim team or an Alta team, or whatever the case may be, take advantage of it. Become the expert in your neighborhood. So Sam's neighborhood, every year we go and we collect, should have brought you other thing. We go and we put bags on the door and saying we're collecting food for the CAC, which is the Community Food Bank in Roswell. We knock on the door and tell them what we're doing. We tell them what day we're going to pick it up, just put it on there, and we go pick it up. And we fill up a car, usually of food. We sponsor, they don't have a swim team, but we do, they have a printed directory, so we're on the back cover of the directory. We have the, we paid for, it's just keeping your name out. We send postcards every quarter to them. We call them. We farm it. Their neighborhood has one of the lowest turnover rates. I mean, and when you start to farm, you need to look and see what the turnover rate is. If Sam didn't live in the neighborhood, we wouldn't sponsor anything because the neighborhood turnover rate is so low. It's not, you want to see where the turnover is.
What rate are you looking for?
I look for not 8 to 10% year-over-year return. So if there's 100 homes, I want to see that 8 to 10 homes are constantly moving. Because if not, I mean, I think Sam's neighborhood has 100 and something homes, 125 homes. I think they had one sale last year. They just, for some reason, his neighborhood doesn't turn. So before you farm, unless you live in the neighborhood, it's a different story maybe, look at the statistics. You can pull it up on FMLS. Pull it up on the tax records. See how often these things are turning. Because you want to make sure you're putting your advertising into something that makes sense. The neighborhood that we used to do, it was kind of a starter home area for the Dunwoody area. So it had a lot of turnover because they weren't big homes, right? It was mostly 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes. Most of them didn't even have basements. So there's a lot of turnover, a lot of young families turning because their kids started getting older and they needed more room. And that's why we farmed that neighborhood. Now we're out of that neighborhood, but I still try to farm it. So make sure you understand where you're spending your dollars. Same thing with Pinterest or Facebook, or make sure that you're spending your money wisely. Unless you're ultimately wealthy, do what you want. So, what questions do y'all have kind of on social media? I mean, I know we're going fast. I'm just trying to keep preview of the time and going back over things. So what questions do y'all have on social media and finding business or anything like that? Farming, open houses?
What if you draw a blank on like content?
I do that all the time.
Where
Steal somebody else's and cut
Best form of flattery is what?
Imitation.
I've got a guy who he's a realtor that lives in Detroit. He sends a positive quote every Monday, and I take it, cut and paste it.
Don't even try to disguise it.
No, and it hits Instagram immediately as soon as I get it.
Charlie the other day, Brad sent out the update on the, y'all know who Charlie is? Charlie is the commercial Brad. So in the meeting on Tuesday, he sent out statistics on Atlanta. Brad emailed it to everybody. I don't know when he emailed it, if y'all know.
Who cut and paste that?
I did. I put it on Facebook. I did. I just took the whole thing, put it on Facebook, and I got responses from it.
Brad sends me an article, great article. I'm like,
yep,
boom, right on my Facebook page.
Yep. So there's always, it's not the easiest thing. So there's a company called Keeping Current Matters. I don't know if you've heard of that. I don't remember how much it is a month. They post a blog every day. They post articles. They do statistic sheets. So their blog, I take their RSS feed and it goes right to my website. So and it also goes right to Facebook. So let's see. All right, so today's post. 3 things to do this week if you want to buy a house this year. Okay? There it is. You can take them, email them. Another one is called The Lighter Side of Real Estate. That's another company. There is I think it's called Breakthrough Broker. There's a lot of, you could spend money after money after money on all these different companies, so make sure you do your research. How many are familiar with the website called, yes ma'am?
Have you been able to link any sales to doing that? Because I spent with Homes.com last year $400 a month on them doing social media posts and couldn't link anything
No,
to it. So
I
it
can't.
just-
I can't.
That's interesting.
But it also, how many people do you stay relevant in social media because of their postings and that kind of stuff? I mean, that's just.
I mean, that's the age-old question with marketing is
$400
like,
sounds like a lot.
yeah.
But I don't. Is that a lot? Is that?
Keeping Current Matters, somebody can look it up, but I thought it was $19 a month.
Yeah, that's kind of what I felt like too.
I can't remember. I've had it for so many years. I can't tell you.
I bet that instead of doing.
But all right, so the next thing I was going to say is, have you ever heard of this web called Feedly? Hold on. I wrote it down so I could tell y'all. I'm charging for this, by the way. Everybody got their credit card in? Y'all are laughing, you know, I'm being serious. It's Feedly.
Feedly.
Feedly. So you go on Feedly, you set up an account. They have a free version, which is what I use, and they have a paid version. I use the free version. And you type in, everybody heard of Curbed Atlanta? Have y'all heard of that website? Curbed Atlanta is a great website. It tells you what's going on. I mean, there's lots of them.
Are you saying curved or curved?
Curbed, C-U-R-B-E-D. So you go to Freely and you type in Atlanta real estate, or you type in home improvement, whatever, and it'll show you all the articles that came up that day. And then you take that article and you can share it. It's a way somebody was asking how to get content. It's an easy, free way to do it. Yes?
Whenever when I'm making a post or anything, I'll look at this Atlanta Business Chronicles.
Mhm.
That's free. And then also every month it's Georgia Realtors. Every month they'll have a snippet of how the market was for that previous month. And then they have stats and stuff, and you just make the stats. I do a write-up, make the stats meaningful,
Mhm.
make the general public understand it, and then just put it on there. That's free.
Right. Atlanta, everybody belongs to the Atlanta board, right? You have to, or Cobb board. I think you have to board the Atlanta board if you're in this office. I don't know.
Yeah.
Atlanta board puts out stuff. NAR, National. Everybody know what NAR is? You're paying money to them, so you should. National Association of Realtors. They always post articles. But you can go on Freely, and you can click NAR, and you can click Curbed Atlanta, and you can click. What's the one that tells you all everything that's happening? Happenings in Atlanta. Duh. Boom. There's hundreds. I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, it doesn't post automatically. You can either do the link or you have to download it, because I do the free version. You can do the paid version where it'll go to Hootsuite or some of these others. It's totally up to you, but it's a good way to find articles. So one of Gary Keller's his sayings, so y'all will. My fear of failure was greater than my fear of generating leads, and that's either we're there now, we've been there, and if you're not there yet, you will be, and if you've been there, you're going to be back there again. Everybody has a fear of picking up the phone and calling, right? That's what it is. I mean, we do. I do. If you don't, I'd love to sit and talk to you, because it's crazy. We all do. So I just want to make sure we've gone over everything, and then I was going to go back to kind of scripts and go back over some of the questions I know are going to be on the test. Is there any questions y'all have for me up till now? No? We're all good? Wow. You're all killing me. Why don't we take a quick 5-minute break, and then when we come back, we're going to kind of go over the stuff I know is going to be on the test, and then we're going to talk about scripts, and then anything else y'all want to do. All right? So we'll take a quick 5-minute break.
Yeah.
Atlanta Business Chronicles on there too.
On the
Yeah. I mean, it's unbelievable. Blogs are on there. It's an interesting way of finding information.
I think I found this for you.
Okay, we're doing it.
How to link your Instagram to Facebook. And I think you can also do from Instagram to
Yeah, so I just need to figure out how to automatically post. So,
you have to do it every time.
Yeah.
So every post you do,
you have to
go
click
ahead
both
and
yeah.
link it.
Oh, you have to click both if that's how you do it? You click
I don't know if
both?
you can click both at the same time. Oh, today is Wednesday. Oh, my post went out.
Oh.
Okay, so.
Like your scheduled post.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So this my post today was. It's not too early to make those dinner reservations. Valentine's Day is only 4 weeks away.
Yeah, I saw that.
Nice reminder.
So let's see. Edit post.
My friend sent.
See if it
It's
goes
just really
on to.
It's on
It
Facebook.
doesn't let me go from here.
And on Facebook.
To post on
Let me
to
see if I can. I was gonna say if I can invite you to. But I don't know if you're free. Okay.
I might not go.
What if you click?
Yeah, see, I probably would have to be free. Okay. Yeah, just see if you would.
I have to do it from the desktop. So.
See, she puts all kind of stuff up with coaching and training and different stuff. That's pretty helpful.
Did you take my plate?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would turn around and it disappeared.
So there for you. Garbage.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, cool.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Let's get you connected. I said it should be connected.
Yeah, I definitely gotta have something.
Phone to the accounts.
Oh, you said you had your FISBO thing up here?
I don't. I thought I did.
Oh, okay.
No, this is what I give to potential clients when I meet with them.
Untraditional.
That I don't have. I grabbed the wrong folder.
I was
This is what too, this is when I decided against it kind of last minute. Have you been doing it for a long time?
Almost a year.
Do you think you'll continue?
I don't think, what we're gonna do, I think, is once we're done with our commitment, I'm gonna end it and see what kind of response I get. And people saying, where's my magazine? I love the magazine.
I thought you were looking at it.
What's up, Tony?
And I've talked to people and I've asked if they get the magazine and they say
Do I have
yes.
to have it in?
But I haven't gotten any
She
business
said
from
you
it
could do
for
it
the
by
cost
calling.
of
She sent a
this.
link to request,
I can get it FaceTime.
request to be.
I know.
But I do like it.
Is there so
I
much
like it
easier?
too.
So to answer your question, I will know probably in April
What's that?
or May.
No, don't worry about it. I invited.
Once our
so
contract's
of course,
over, we'll cancel it.
Yeah.
And if a bunch of people say, oh,
No,
we
hey, I
miss
got
it,
an
then
offer
we
on
know
one.
that.
So it's just hang on until.
Yeah.
So.
The other
And what is it?
Right. You have to see what's connected
It's
with your
called real
network.
estate.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
they offer
Oh, this is a
170.
great piece. This is
My
the
guy-
United.
So this one was the
I gotta
only
learn
that I got
social
from
media.
that.
Gotcha.
That's awesome.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll use
I
it
mean,
again,
I
right?
do
Oh, yeah,
Facebook.
yeah.
pages.
So this is, her name's Sam Underwood, she's local. I mean, there's lots of people that do it, but it's called e-marketing
Deal, so
pro or e-marketing.
the other agent and said, hey.
No.
And do you do the same with like
That rock or
Georgia
just rock?
football and the Alabama football?
So with, yeah, so with the football, we did Georgia Tech, Georgia,
Okay, so I hit join.
Alabama.
I said, you and I have to.
What is it? And it's saying I got a copy
Oh,
of
yeah.
this.
So just.
Can you invite me?
Yeah, you have to, let me look you up. for-
E-touch
Look me
marketing.
up for a friend, cause it's easy.
Just her.
Do you mind if I get that contact information from you?
Yeah, just search and it's Naomi
Text or email?
Text would be great.
and then McLean.
My phone number is 404
LAI.
547.
My last name is Muhammad.
8141.
And just click on the ad for me. Okay, it'll come through in a second. Okay, here we go. And then I confirm with Tracy Howard. And then I'll invite you.
Okay, thank you.
Gotta love technology.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we can do that.
Can of coffee?
Kankakee. I know.
Okay.
404.
Kankakee, Illinois.
8141.
So I have sent the invite, and so the administrator, they always review everybody, and they'll approve it.
Awesome.
Okay.
You'll get a little message.
At
It'll say-
Berkshire, those were some of the things that were
Okay,
provided, but
Okay, thank you.
last year, they would provide, there was a marketing person that would build these things. So I actually did like a little piece for my neighborhood that was like, I love this neighborhood so much, I live here, and had a picture of my front door. But they would do things like that. But I paid $28.
Yeah, I mean,
Like this other
10 days or
versus
12 days.
$19,000.
Please be careful on
So,
posts because like.
This is, have you ever used this
So
one?
then they share.
No.
This is
She
great.
had it herself, live in it.
So this is, I
Which is
like
best
it.
case scenario.
So
That's
for
the
25
perfect buyer
bucks.
for
I know, I went to show,
us, because
well,
she's gonna
I
have
was
time.
send
super,
out-
I'm not sure how I didn't know my super key.
We were trying to address with our information.
Really? What?
She read it herself.
Yeah, I
For
don't
5
know. I'm
years,
glad you
for
said that.
25
I wanted to get mine
bucks.
today, so I
It did not work. And, the lady was like, when I called, I
The
called the
prettiest
number on the
stuff.
house.
They can stay
So
in
And I
again,
said, well, it's not working.
She can rent the place out.
so this is
Because
the
I was
book
on
they
the
send
phone.
out.
Okay. From
So
Atlanta,
it's
it's
not-
only gonna work.
But
in the
it
next
keeps you in front.
Yeah,
and
So,
you're on
and
the
that's what
front
this,
end.
that,
I
that's
thought it
this
worked
place.
in Georgia.
I think that's
25 bucks for 5
nice.
years.
Well, good, but if it's not gonna.
Right.
Yeah, and then the postcard
So she
you can
said
do, if you have a
she
good
had
picture of the
somebody
house.
else Put a different box
Think
on
So I
it.
guess they're selling it because advertising to sending addresses.
Well, that,
But she
and
wasn't
they're
willing to
hoping
come
buy
that
their
day.
postcards
And
and
this is the thing, I have a
newsletters and
friend
everything
that
else.
that wants to be an investment. He's totally
But, so the
free.
first
Yeah,
post, like right here, you-
I
they send you the
think that's what
postcard,
you do.
and you can use the thank you or the picture of the house.
What's going on here?
So,
Unless
they do
something
oversized.
happens.
So they do, I mean, they sell a bunch of stuff, that's not gonna be
He's right over here.
But
And
for
she was
25
like,
bucks, you can't
I can make an appointment for you.
stay in front of somebody for 5 years.
She was like, I don't want
That's crazy.
This is another one. that's,
Years left on
it's a
the
check.
forever fine.
Yeah.
So that's another
Her name
good
wasn't on
one
it.
that I like. So,
So it was
Do you
just
use
crazy.
any marketing companies to do your listing presentation
So,
or
you know,
your?
we'll see.
I do, so.
Yeah, no, we're not.
I bind them here, print them off. and
Okay.
bind them. We have, I don't know
Good luck.
if Stacy sent y'all any of this, but every quarter we have stats. Ross Group hires an economist.
Like the PowerPoint pages and the Excel.
Those are great things to use.
I'm definitely gonna use those.
because you can narrow down to the area.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, those work.
It's
So
actually one of my selling factors when I came here, was that information.
yeah, and not all the Keller Williams do it. Just the
Right.
Rawls Group does it. So we put that in that. So I narrow that down in the selling presentation. I'm certified with Kelly Offers, but I don't know. I haven't done my first one yet to see how it works.
I am too. I went to the certification in December, but I don't.
Do you do the name?
Have you lost the deal for sure?
I did,
How much they charge you?
$250.
They charge you $250?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's worth $250, but we'll find out. I'm having my first client to try that on. Trying to think what else. I mean, there's just so much stuff. It's overwhelming.
It is. I mean, right now I want to get, because I had a.
What area are you trying to? Where do you live? You said.
I live in Dunwoody, but I'm gonna.
What part of Dunwoody?
Chamblee, Dunwoody, right across from Kroger, in
Okay.
Dunwoody Green.
Oh yeah, I'm right around the corner. I live off of Tilly Mill,
Oh, yeah.
across from the college.
Yeah. They're doing so much at Brook Run right now.
It's amazing.
It's got to be awesome for the area.
Yeah, I can't wait for them to pave my street.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, anytime I have my first, I just gotta go find where it is. I have one. I'll have to look for it. You can come by. I'm usually here if I'm not meeting with somebody.
I'm meeting with I'm meeting with Terry Cummings weekly, and this coming Monday I'm gonna bring to her my listing presentation, my buying presentation. I've got to create them. I had them at Berkshire, but it was so different. The data I was given was different. Everything was different.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
just kind of creating things. So I was talking to Stacy yesterday about
Probably,
one that's
yes.
downloadable. It's a PowerPoint file.
There's Michael Lewis has one.
Is
Michael
it a
Lewis
good one?
Suites. Well,
because you want to edit so much.
I took bits and pieces from. There's 3 or 4 of them. I used a Breakthrough Broker from time to time, and I steal stuff from there. Michael Lewis has okay things. Keller Williams has some okay things. You have to, you got to customize it.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
So, in every house you go to, a listing appointment is in a different area.
Yeah.
So you're customizing it there. So it's hard to say.
Right.
All right, should we move on? Everybody had a good break? Kind of go over some other things, and then, all right, so what are the benefits of prospecting?
Get business, learning the market.
Okay. It's inexpensive though, right? And it should give you better results in a postcard, because you're talking to somebody on the phone. Puts you in control of your pipeline, right? Because if you don't prospect, you don't fill your pipeline. It increases your confidence, because every time you talk to somebody, you get better at overcoming objections and knowing what to say. And it keeps you in direct contact, right? With the market, what's going on. You're prepared for market shifts because you're learning and keep going. What are the 4 C's of prospecting?
Capture, connect, close, cultivate.
All right. Tell me a little. Who can tell me about capture?
Get their name, number, email address, mailing address.
Connect.
Establish some kind of relationship with them, some commonality.
Close.
Ask for an appointment.
Ask for the business, and cultivate.
Close.
Keep up with, maintain.
Maintaining them. Time blocking. 3 by 3. What is the process? Why are we time blocking? What do we do when we time block?
Focus.
Organizing.
We prepare, right? That's got to prepare to time block, right? Because if you time block from 10 to 12, right, you can't prepare at 10. Because you got it. That's your call time. Then you take action, right?
Yes.
And you maintain. Maintaining is what? Sending a thank you note. If they ask for something, whatever it is, you have to do that. What about some ideas, thoughts on social media postings?
keep your business account separate.
Okay, that's an aha more than an idea, but.
Have your kids put your for sale signs in the yard and take a picture of them doing it.
Okay. If you live in a, all right, how many of y'all are in live here in Dunwoody besides me? Okay, so if you're here for lunch, there's a new burger place that just opened up in the the Chevron, right in front of Dunwoody Village called NFA Burger, right? You can post that. Oh, by the way, it's a delicious hamburger. So, but you could post that. If, like I said, if your kid is on the band, the football team, the lacrosse, the basketball team, post.
Take pictures of food.
Take pictures of them. You know, what upcoming event? Like, so we just went through New Year's, right? What's the next event?
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's.
MLK.
MLK.
Black History
So
Month.
those that were in here, I try to do my post ahead of time so they auto post. And why it posted now, it's supposed to post at 7 a.m. I don't know, I gotta go check. But it basically said, now's the time to make your reservations if you hadn't. Valentine's 4 weeks out. Doesn't say anything about real estate, it doesn't say anything about, it's just a reminder, because it's upcoming. Whatever the case may be, like there's a lady, I don't even know who she is, but somehow I'm following her. Every day it's another national holiday. It's Donut Day, it's Tomatoes Day. I didn't even know this many, I don't know if she makes them up, but it seems like every day she's posting it's, whatever holiday, Donut Day, I'm not kidding you. But she's staying relevant. Articles, like on Friday I'm posting an article, the top trends in flooring in 2020. 2020, sounds weird, doesn't it? 2020. So it's an article, it's already scheduled to go, hopefully it goes at 7 a.m. like it's supposed to. That's user error most likely. Not most likely it is. But so that's posting. So you want to post stuff that might be relevant, or might just to stay in front of them, make them want to come back to your page. And again, you have to like. You don't have to like. You have to respond. Liking doesn't help you. You got to respond. So you got to do that. Same. All right. So let's see. I think she did a cheat sheet, didn't she? Everybody got the cheat sheet?
Mm-hmm.
No. You didn't get the cheat. You didn't take the stuff. Did you sign in?
Yep.
All right. There should be a cheat sheet on the back. Summaries and keys. So make sure you go over this. I'm gonna see if I can find some questions. Oh, we didn't go over this. Does everybody know what the difference is a met and a not met? Like, what's a met? Does anybody know what that is?
People that you know that you're comfortable with. Okay.
So a not met is LinkedIn people. You didn't ever met them yet. You know what I'm saying? Or if you go to a networking meeting and there's 300 people in there and you're just collecting business cards, you really haven't met them, right? You said hello to them, but you don't know anything about them. That will be on the test. So somebody tell me a couple of different ways of prospecting.
Door knocking.
All right, that's one.
Calling.
Okay. Calling what?
Expireds.
Okay.
FSBOs.
Okay. What else?
Direct mail, open houses.
Right. Okay. The income roller coaster, which we talked about, can be avoided by
Prospecting.
daily lead gen, right. So this is the one that's, I really didn't say these words exactly, but this is, when using Facebook as a business tool, it's more effective to be interested in instead of interesting. interesting instead of interested. You understand the differences? Am I saying, so y'all understand it? Interested instead of interesting, or interesting instead of interested. Y'all follow the two different?
Here at 1080 Hector Chase in Kennesaw, Georgia.
That's me.
No, I was trying to find you to,
That's me. It was one of my old Facebook Lives that I did in front of before an open house. So you want to be interested instead of interesting. So in other words, you want to, if somebody posts something, you want to be interested in them, so they in turn will start being interested in you. Does that make sense?
yes.
We kind of talked about this real quick, but I think, I don't like these numbers, but NAR put it out, so it must be true, right? According to NAR, there's a 72% chance of converting a web lead if you respond within an hour, 4 hours, 12 hours, or 24 hours.
An hour.
Yeah, I don't even think it's that high anymore.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
It's like within the first 5 minutes.
I mean, you really have to respond in the first 5 minutes. Okay. Prior to the date of your open house, we talked about this, it's recommended that you knock on doors of the surrounding 500 homes, 200 homes, 100 homes, next door neighbors only.
Next door neighbor.
Yeah, that's what they say, but I disagree, because I would do all of the, not just either side, I do the neighborhood. Because typically the person to the left and the person to the right are usually friends with the person in the house you're selling, and they already know. It's the one 3 streets over down at the cul-de-sac that doesn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Unless your house is the first house as you enter the cul-de-sac and they see the open house signs. Marketing is passive lead generation, active lead generation, not lead generation, or expensive.
Active.
Active, yeah. We've been over the 4 C's. All right.
Is this a multiple choice test, or is it
Multiple. It's always multiple choice. And like any of the other tests, you've always, their job, they try to trick you more than, like when y'all took your test, like this way they phrase the questions or this. But this one, it's not really hard. Let's see. I think it's pretty much. This is interesting. Standing when lead generation creates more energy.
Yes.
That is true. Yeah. They always say if you can stand when you're making your calls or walking around, or like when I work from home, I always get dressed. Mm-hmm. Even if I know I'm not leaving, I just, for some reason,
It's a mental process.
I get I get dressed.
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't work from home because that's not me. Some people can work very well from home. I start thinking about, my dogs come up, I start thinking about the 12 things I have to do, and I get distracted very easily. That's why I come here, but some people can do it really well. So tell me some of your ahas that y'all took from this class, and then we're going to talk about scripts. What are some of the things you learned that you didn't know, or one of the things that you knew but now it stands out a little bit more?
How to be more, when I do my FSBOs, having more of an action plan as far as just not going and saying, hey, seller, but having something to leave them with, not just my card. So being more proactive in that way as far as prospecting goes.
Okay, and when you're giving out information, right? Can you give out too much information?
Yes.
Right. You don't want to give the farm away, right? What good does it do? But you want to show you're knowledgeable. Anything I leave, something like that, I always have sample across it or some way of watermarking so they can't use it. Right? So if you do this, if you print out like I said, in DeKalb County, the low flow, right? Well, don't give them the one. First of all, your name's at the bottom if you ever saw that, and you're only supposed to do that if they're your client. So you want to make sure you have sample, or do not use something that they can't just go to Kinko's and make copies of. If they retype it, that's up to them, right? But show, and don't give them all the information, right? I have a list of, and I wish I'll have to see if I can find it if y'all want it. It's somewhere in my office, and I have one in my car, but it's a sheet that just says, basically, by sale by owner, what, they're leaving money on the table. Statistically, they're leaving money on the table in time. Some people don't care because they know everything, right? And they may not be the client you want to work with anyways. But you want to make sure that you don't give them everything, okay?
Why are they so concerned about your commission? Like, that's been my biggest thing is like... So,
if it's a $400,000 house, what's the typical commission on a $400,000 house? $24,000. They know that they're going to give 3% away if another agent brings them, right? So, but in their mind, most for sale by owner's mind is, whoever comes through the door and likes this house, I'm saving $24,000. And what you have to do is show them that if they, so let's say they don't do the disclosures that it flooded, right? Because they don't know that they have to disclose it. And the person buying it doesn't have an agent, and they find out that there's mold down the road. They still can come back and sue that owner because they didn't follow the steps.
More money.
Which would cost them more. So you have to show them the pain. What is the pain of not using an agent? There are some houses in some areas, let's face it, you put a tie in the yard and it sells. Right? You don't necessarily need, in their mind, they don't need an agent. So you have to show them what's the advantage of using an agent. Well,
Value.
So the value is typically they underprice it because they don't really know what everybody's selling them for, or they overprice it and it sits. And once they sit, with today's technology, if they put it on Zillow or Realtor or any of these others as for sale by owners, it tracks it. And so then when you take it over 60, 90 days later, a smart agent that's done their history, they're picking up the phone and they're like, well, my client likes the house. Why has it been on the market for 90 days? It hasn't been on the market for 90 days. I've only had the listing for 3 days. Well, the owner was doing it for sale by owner. Why didn't they sell it? Well, they either priced it too high, there was something wrong with it, whatever it is. So you as the agent must be prepared for that, but they don't see that. So if somebody's thinking about it, you have to explain to them that, yeah, you may think you're saving $24,000, but in reality you're not, and here's why. Are you covering yourself to protect yourself legally? Are you doing everything correctly? Do you know all the forms? You have it priced at this, so that means that, and if it's overpriced, that means it's sitting on the market, which means what is your pain? Why are you moving? Find out why they're moving. They're being transferred, right? They have a sick parent. They're moving to wherever, right? Well, the pain is if it takes you 90 days to try to sell it yourself because it's overpriced right now, or you use an agent, we can get you where you want quicker, which means you're not paying mortgages, or you're not having to fly back and forth. You're not having to pay someone to, we're able to show it while you're at work. People coming out of town, they can't see it at 6:30 at night after work. They want to see it at 2. How are you going to show that? So you have to find out what their pain is. And pain's not always money. You have to understand that. It's not always about money. Their pain is they could feel like they have the most in all these valuables, blah, 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 and they don't want somebody in the house. Well, in that case, say, look. Again, it depends on where you live and what it is. Say, look, we can put in the notes that I have to be present to show the house, to help you get over that fear. But at the same time, you need to put all your valuables away. Let's lock them up. You need to put your medicines away. I had one client, and she worked from home most of the time, and she had a dog, so she would take the dog and go for a walk or whatever. It never failed that the 2 days a week that she worked from home, somebody would have shown request. So I went in and would get the dog. And the dog and I would go for a walk. Because the dog was not friendly. But she wouldn't cradle. So the dog and I became friends. And I would take the dog, and I had to put on there, if I have to meet you there, which could be if she's not working from home, I need to know when you're going to be there because I have to get the dog. And most of y'all understand, the problem is if you're showing 12 houses that day and you say you're gonna be there between 2 and 4, you could be there for 2, sitting in the house till they show up. Or sitting there and then they call you and say, look, we're running behind, we're not coming today. It happens. So, don't give the farm away, going back since we went on vacation. Behaviors, what did we talk about behaviors? What's one of the biggest behaviors that you can do? Change. If you haven't done it yet, start it, and if you have done it, change it.
Put a timeline, a time limit on when people can call you.
That's one way. Don't answer the phone when you're prospecting. If you can get into that habit now and not be in I have a bad habit, I answer it. You know? So I tell all of my clients, sales-wise, if I'm selling their house, that we have a sales meeting on Tuesday, and it usually runs till about 11. I'm gonna call you right after, typically around 12:30 to 2 after my sales meeting, and give you an update on what happened during the week. Now, why do I pick that time frame on Tuesday?
People on lunch.
People are on lunch, but I'm here, right? And I've time set myself to say, if I have a listing, I'm calling every Tuesday. Whether I have something to say, good, bad, or nothing. Hey, just let you know we had, because nowadays, if you're using the technology, they know when somebody comes in and out, because they're agreeing to the appointment. So I will say, and why I don't do it on Monday versus Tuesday, just because I'm here. But I could do it on Monday, but typically Mondays when I'm following up to see what the agent saw on Sundays, and because I always call that. I don't call, like there's some agents that literally, you walk out the door and they're calling, what did your client think? I'm still with my client. But so I always call the next day to get feedback, and I can give them feedback or no feedback, or what I suggest, but I set a time they know I'm going to call them to give them an update, set expectations. So, time blocking. We talked about tools, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun things. Accountability, that's, find somebody, as I said, to script practice, find somebody to hold you accountable. If you're married, it can be your spouse. If you don't want that, find someone in here. It's amazing when somebody else is holding you accountable, what you do. Have y'all met Terry yet?
Yes.
Okay, Terry Cummings does coaching. She can hold you accountable. Find somebody. If the person that brought you here, if they'll do it, let them hold you accountable. When we're successful, we all achieve and we're all happy, right? In building your business, that's what it's going to find out. So one of the ways we build our business is script. So if we all turn to the front of this chapter, has anybody pre-read? Yes, ma'am.
Just a question, how long are we gonna go today? 'Cause I thought
3 o'clock. If you need to, 3.
She told us too.
Who told you to?
She texted today and said 2.
That's why I was.
She said 11 to 2.
She did.
She did say 11 to 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was supposed to be 10 to 1, and then she texted everybody and said 11.
Well, then y'all can leave. I'm sorry. I haven't told it was. I'll answer any other questions. I thought it was 11 to 3. 3 hours.
Let me go grab
12, 1, 2. It is 2. I'm sorry. I kept y'all longer.
Thank you.
It's
though,
okay.
for the information.
I had 3 o'clock on the brain for some reason.
I just have to run. I didn't.
Go. No. Is anybody? I'll answer any other questions. Or anybody have any questions? I apologize.
That's okay.
For printing, do you print at home or do you go to for marketing materials
So-
or things of that nature?
I don't remember how to get there. I'll have to, but there is a Office Depot discount card. Where it's at, I don't remember. It's somewhere on our KW site, and they are so cheap.
It's also mailed to you. The Georgia Realtors just mailed it to you.
Yeah, but it's not as cheap as the Keller Williams
Sorry,
one.
Keller Williams one's better.
So, and if anybody wants my card and has any questions, let me know. If anybody wants to see some of the marketing stuff that I use,
Yes, I want your packet.
I'll get it for you. Yeah, and I have I have 2 cards. This is the card I give out, and this is the card I give out at open houses, and then I have a nice card that I give out to clients. So don't take it personally.
Your evaluation, right?
Do your evaluation, please.
Stacy's gonna give us an updated schedule? Because I think the one she gave us had some mix-ups too.
Oh, it's my
So
fault.
she's coming in as well.
What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. But if y'all ever have any questions, please, if you need help with something, Stacy's not around, and if I'm around, I'll be more than happy to help.
Thank you.
Whatever y'all need.
Thank you.
All righty. Go out there and earn a lot of money. Just don't take my clients.
I'll call you first.
Thank you.
Send me all your Riverdale people.
You're more than welcome to have them because I don't know. I mean, I know where Riverdale is. I used to have a couple of rental houses over there, but I don't know.
Hey, good, how are you?
Oh, yeah, I think it looks already.
Take the books.
She said.
They're your books.
She was really
Yeah.
Thank you. I had to watch the class Monday.
Oh, after.
So I was like, I know you. So I thought the guy was gonna be sitting up here.
Oh, yeah. He did, and then he moved.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
My pleasure. As they say at Chick-fil-A, my pleasure. Chick-fil-A all the way. It's the most consistent fast food place you'll ever go.
Yes, the best service in town.
I mean, cleanliness, everything.
We've been that way since the inception.
Yeah. It is amazing.
I had the opportunity to personally meet Truett Cathy and share with him at the corporate office early on. Me too. He's just amazing. He was an amazing guy.
Yeah.
Think you got some more?
Oh, I didn't do your thing.
Yeah. You gotta evaluate me so I
Yeah.
can keep my feedback.
So will you be teaching tomorrow? So how do we get that packet?
We got class tomorrow?
Which packet? Which packet do you want?
Your when you read something.
Well, my first LMA owner packet.
Yeah.
I'll have to make some copies and.
So for the packet, you just give like information, or what do you
Yeah.
have? Like, what do you have specifically? Like, what's your
It's like
meat
Monday, Wednesday.
of the packet?
Basically, it's just a little bit of information for them, and I try to show them the dangers.
Okay, so you don't do like a comparative market
Oh,
analysis. Okay, like drop that off. That's too much information. Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's just a couple of details.
It's anytime, and I could go back to anytime somebody wants a CMA, it's hard to give a CMA if you don't know
The inside
of
of the house. Okay, you can. Yeah, because you're just going by what you see online.
Right. So when somebody says that, you always want to make sure that you explain to them, like, I can give you just what the safes are, but I don't know what you have or what part of the floor. If you're working condition, great condition, you know. And I always say, look, I can give you one if you want
You
me to.
take it?
I can give you one, but if you really want me to do my job correctly, I have to see it. There's nothing worse than when you call somebody and they give you permission to come to the listing presentation. And when I go and I don't, and they're like, well, what is my house worth? I said, well, honestly, it's the first time we met. How do I know what your house is worth? I don't know what the inside looks like. I said, I can tell you what the averages are. And now that I've seen your house, I can go back and get my job. So it gives you a second view. And there's some people that don't understand that.
And as far as listing presentations go, because I was confused, I thought the listing presentation was a CMA, the thing that they give you on RDocs, where it's like your area, why you need an agent, things like that. That's not a listing presentation.
Well, it's however you want to do your listing presentation. That's not my listing presentation.
Okay, so the listing presentation will have like what in it?
My listing presentation talks a little bit about me, but it talks about what I do to help sell their house and why I'm valuable. If I know the neighborhood or know the house, then yes, I'll do a complete CMA.
Okay.
I use a lot of the slides from the economists that they hire, so I can micro center it down. And I will tell people what a standard 4-bedroom, 2-bath, let's say, is selling for. But I can't tell them without looking at their house. Well, you said you had hardwood floors, but you don't have hardwood floors throughout. You know what I'm saying? So you have 3-car garage, and I didn't, on tax records, that's 2.
Okay.
So it seems like that will happen. The tax record says you have an unfinished basement. Well, you actually have a full finished basement with a bathroom. So until you have all that information, you can't give. It's like, the easiest way I describe it is like, if you go to the doctor and you say you're sick, they'll guess at what you have, but if they do blood work or look down your throat, then they can prescribe what's right. I can prescribe a better comp on your house if I see it. If not, I can only give you what I'm guessing at. So if you want it correctly, yeah, there will be another. And sometimes they're like, well, I want to know what the price is. What do you think my house is worth right now? Okay, well, you walk the house. Right, but now I got to go back and compare it. Well, you did your comparison. No, I did average sales because I didn't know what your house was like.
But even then, are you just guessing? Because don't
Hold on a
they
second.
have to have it appraised?
Can you show me how to turn this off?
Don't they have to have it appraised still? No? Because when I sold a house, like they had.
When you're buying the house, you can have an appraisal. Let me
Yeah.
just see how to turn off this. Hold on.
That one?
The whatever she's recording for.
Oh, okay. All right. So you see where it says stream?
Yeah.
Stop.
Okay.